what were we talking about? Culture.
Yeah, culture.
And I think that's the biggest thing. That community culture, that family orientated culture, and that's what we wanted to bring to our gym in Marsden Park. It's family owned and operated. We have people that have families that we've got family members that work there. We've got our customer service manager, her daughter's working there now. And that's another thing where the market is so saturated with coaches now. It does feel like though that it's starting to drip away a little bit now, where people are starting to recognise who the real coaches are. No, I was academic. I was actually one of the smarter kids at school, and then that kind of started to fall away. Year 10, year 11, where I just stopped caring much about.
What did that happen?
Nothing really. Just got to an age where I just cared about hanging out with mates. So I was never really a rebel or anything. Never got into much trouble at all when I was young. And one day I called in sick. Faked cough on the phone. Said, I can't come in. And then I rocked up on Monday. They called me to the office and they said, were you sick on Friday? I said, yeah. They go, well, we saw you on TV. I said, I was on TV. So Penrith made the grand final. And back then you couldn't buy tickets online. You had to line up at Kikac, which used to be like at Grace Brothers back in the day. We camped out the night before. Yeah. So we camped out the night before to get tickets the next day for the 2003 grand final, and Channel 9 and Channel 7 and all of that were there. Right, yeah. And they rocked up and I'm there in my old brown and white jersey with a flag wrapped around my head, carrying on like a lunatic. And then they were like, we saw you, and then really sure came to a mutual agreement, maybe this job isn't for me, and left graphic design, and yeah.
That was it.
That was it.
His pancake challenges with his staff. Penrith Panthers tragic. PE teacher, competitor, business owner, entrepreneur. Arnold's Columbus, Arnold's Australia, with a burger challenge with him and Scott Goebel during prep. Batting above his average in love. You are, brother. You're way above your average. Family seems priority one. Well, after the Panthers, that is. Cherishes and has gratefulness in his life and his life habits. Please help me welcome. Is that a happy face or not? Mark Grechy Grech. How are you? You well?
Yeah, I'm very good.
I was trying to think to myself, we already know. So tell me, what's your background firstly?
Maltese. So both my parents are full Maltese. Me and my sister were born and raised here in Australia. So we're very Australianised, but my parents are still short little Maltese wogs with the accent. So yeah, no, they're very Maltese.
You don't look Maltese.
A lot of people say that, yeah.
And the other thing is, we can get misinterpreted. Do you get misinterpreted that you look very serious? Because
all the time, bitch face, everything. Yeah. Like
when I first met you, and I told you I actually in 2019 when I told you the story about wanting to compete, I didn't meet nobody. And when I told you the story about, we won't mention names, but when I came to 2022, you had a posing thing going on at the Australian Posing School, and I came, and when I heard you talk to everyone, I said, man, this guy's so serious. And the reason I said you were serious is it's like, I think you've been doing this long enough, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but we're fucking wasting time here. We got a lot of people to get through, and I need to fucking tell you the rules. Is that how you are? So you're straight in with the rules, and then you're out. Like, let's go now.
Yeah, I don't like fluff. I just get straight to the point.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Serious about things. Yeah. Time's a very valuable commodity, so I like to get to the point straight away. But I think the resting bitch face and the angry look all the time, that's just me. I can't shake that. A lot of people will look at me and then they'll talk to me. They go, "Oh, you're actually a nice guy." And I'm like, "Well, what'd you think I was originally?" And they're like, "You're so angry all the time." And it's just a lot of the time I'm concentrating or I'm distracted by something that's happening that I'm thinking about, and I'm and that's my thinking face. I think I'm just angry. But even when I used to compete,
but I think as well, it's your piercing eyes.
Maybe, yeah.
It is. You got your blue eyes, but I think but I think. Like I definitely would show you my ID at the door before I even went in, because I go.
A lot of people are intimidated.
I go. Here you go, mate. I didn't ask for it. I don't care, man. You seem like you want to check my ID.
My youngest son, he's the cutest kid in the world, but he's got my frown. So when he's just sitting there on his iPad and he's got his frown on there, like That's mini Mark right there.
No, but all right. So we've got that out of the way. So tell me about. All right. So let's since and I know you're jovial because I'll tell you why. Because you did a pancake challenge with your staff, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to know because I think eating pancakes is an endless. Like you can go forever, but it didn't look like you won that.
No, I did win it.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you win that? Who was the guy next to you? I thought he won it. Who won?
No, I ended up winning that, and I was surprised I'd win that too because I just literally. Yeah, I'm not a pancake eater. I just jumped in just to offer moral support with the rest of my staff, but I'm pretty competitive at the same time.
How many pancakes was it in the
I
end?
ended up eating 14. And as a joke, the guys, so Barista Shed, I'll give them a shout out.
Yeah, please do. I know it was Barista Shed. Yeah,
they organised. They actually asked us, we're thinking about doing a pancake challenge. Do you reckon your staff want to get involved? I go, yeah, the staff definitely want to get involved. And like I said, as a joke, they put 10 pancakes on everyone's plate, but they put an extra 4 on mine, and I didn't even know until after. And then when I won, they're like, do you realise that you ate an extra 4? I'm like, I had no idea.
So you could have kept going.
I actually felt all right. I was surprised. I thought I was going to be real sick after, but I felt all right. Yeah, but I was strategic about it. I didn't eat much before.
I love it. Hey guys, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed, who is following us on all platforms, but especially here on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, please, if you could do us a big favor, which helps us reach more people, get better, bigger, greater. We've already had some great guests anyway. Everyone's been a treat. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you're notified every week a new podcast that is launched. And I just want to say a big thank you. But again, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and enjoy watching Muscle Talks podcasts. Well, that's the competitive side to you. Yeah. So since we're going to, because I've watched you. And let's take away, like you said, the angry face and all that. You're very comical because you've done some comedy skits for your business, especially the after hours thing that you did. That you were acting like, don't try to sneak into my gym.
Oh yeah.
So you're quite funny, and you had this machine that blew up fake money, and everyone could grab.
Yeah.
So is that truly your nature? You like to take the piss out of things. You like
all
to
the
have a
time.
lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm a smart ass. Yeah. Like even now. We've just recently signed a lease for our next gym, and the people that we signed a lease with, the developers and our landlords, they have to. I told them to quickly get used to my sense of humour because I've got a smart ass comment for everything. It might be a little bit too much sometimes, where I don't know how to pick my crowd. But yeah, I just try and add humour to every situation. That's how I've always been like that since I was a kid.
Yeah, like I said to you, it comes out and it shows, and also your staff, and you can always tell. Well, again, maybe the camera doesn't tell me much, and maybe when the cameras are off, they're all crying, but your staff seems very happy. You seem to give them the reins to promote not only themselves, but promote the gym.
Yeah.
I think you don't, it looks like you're not a puppeteer there. You run the business, but you go, as long as we respect each other, and you guys are doing the right thing. And I can see it in your staff and your diversity of staff, because even very early on, I had who did we have on? What was the name? What was the name that came in with Ace? Anyway,
I can't remember her name. The British girl.
Yes, yeah, but
edit that part out. I can't remember her name. Yeah.
Oh no! Don't worry. We are here. No.
I don't know why L.
No, it is L. It is L. Because I'm watching her now. She's actually shredded up quite a bit.
Yeah, I think she's doing season C.
She's looking great. She's looking great. She's a great. Actually, she was a great kid. We had her on the podcast. But Ace was there, and that was when he first started being
Izzy.
Yeah. So there you go. We don't have to edit it. We can run it all like this. It runs perfect timing. But she came with Ace. Ace was really, really wonderful guy as well. And like I said, he was starting out to be a personal trainer. And like I said to you, now I'm going to sound judgmental, but I would judge people. I used to go look at aerobic instructors and think, well, why would I learn from that aerobics instructor? But you definitely allow people to really get in there and try to make their mark and show that they're a great trainer. And I can see that with Ace. Seems like everyone loves this guy.
I was talking about Ace this morning, actually. Funny that you mentioned that. Ace, his clients love him to death.
Yeah.
But he's got the personality for it, because as a personal trainer, he's fully committed to his clients. So if a client books in an hour, he's their trainer for the hour. He's not distracted on his phone or drinking a coffee or doing anything else. He's got their 100%. They've got his 100% commitment at any given time, but he's so dedicated to his clients. But he's come a long way from the person that he first started with us as just working reception.
Yes.
He decided to do a bit of PT, and then it didn't really work out for him as he had have wished. And then I actually offered him a full-time position as a reception. He took that. And then changed his mind a few months later, thought I'm going to give it another crack. And then I actually thought at that point, you know what, you're actually ready to give it a proper crack now. You kind of learn from your mistakes. And he's just taken the ball and run with it ever since. And he's an awesome PT. Yeah, he loves it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying to you. I think you see something in the sport and the people and those trainers that everyone just takes for granted. But you look at substance and quality and delivery. And when you just said about Ace doing what he does, that's what makes him get clients, and that's what clients want, and no one understands that. It's not necessarily your persona just looking the part. You got to come in with all the goods.
Well, he doesn't have an intimidating physique. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? And that's going to branch out to an array of potential clientele out there who don't want to train with a bodybuilder. Not all personal trainers have to be bodybuilders. Not all personal trainers have to be Instagram models. Do you know what I mean? And I think this industry is kind of going a bit backwards in a sense that people are turning or are looking at the career of a personal trainer just because it's a cool thing to do on Instagram.
Yeah.
Where that's completely backwards. Like, yeah, all right, you use Instagram and your socials to boost your business, but you don't use your career as a personal trainer to boost your Instagram.
100%.
And I think that's where so many personal trainers are out there. They're shit because they're looking at it from a backwards type of direction. Yeah.
And also, don't you think, which is again what I've learned in the just over 12 months we've launched, number 61 podcast, and obviously we did a few earlier on. What I've learned is in this industry, the people we really want to entertain and the people we want to come and embrace us is the people looking over the fence. And I think people are forgetting that you and me. I'm just telling you, I don't need a personal trainer. Maybe I need it if I want to go to comp. Maybe if I'm missing something like a real big goal, like turning 50 or 40 and I want to blow it out of the park. I might get a trainer for 12 months. But when you know you're comfortable going into the gym and saying, hey, Mark, and saying hi to your staff and do my workout and having a shower and going to work in IT or a bank manager, whatever it is, sometimes you don't need if you've done it long enough, you don't need personal trainers. What personal trainers need to do is tell the people, oh, you're looking, come on in. Come on, I'll train you and I'll get you started. I think that's what's missing when, like you said, I think that everyone's trying to seem jacked and I only do professionals and I do athletes. They don't need you. Who needs you is those that are nervous to come in the gym, and you're going to bring them in, and they're the clients you need and constantly need.
100%. A lot of gyms offer, and we do too, offer a couple of complimentary personal training sessions for everyone who joins up. And at the same time, from a business perspective, it's good for the member because they get to learn right off the bat the correct way to use machines and kind of build a rapport with our staff straight away also. And then from a business perspective for that personal trainer, it gives them the opportunity to actually, there's a lead, I can build a rapport with them in return and offer them my services and hopefully bring them on as a regular client. As you said, though, a lot of trainers now, right off the bat, feel like they're too important for that type of thing where I'm not going to dedicate any time for a free session because my time's too important. I'm worth this much and that much. Like, I've had a personal trainer in the past who used to say that one of my sessions is worth 2 of everyone else's. She was literally probably about 20 years old. And I'm like, how do you put yourself on a pedestal this early when no one knows who you are? And like, and that's the thing about personal trainers like these days. So many of them study for 3 months and they get qualified and that's it. Back when I did my personal trainer's course, it was a 2-year course. And I had the option of going down an easier route where it could have been a much shorter condensed course, but I don't feel like I would have learned what I needed to learn as a personal trainer by correspondence. I wanted to go to TAFE and learn face-to-face and learn that way because I feel like I'd absorb the information a lot better. And but a lot of people now is just trying to jump on the bandwagon as quickly as possible, get qualified as quickly as possible, and then expect clients to come to them when it's not going to happen. It's just that you need to work hard. And I'll use Ace again as an example. He worked hard for his clients. He offered free personal training sessions. He put himself out there. He worked on his socials, and when he worked on his socials, it wasn't about him. personal trainers make it about them. They're the highlight of their videos. It's them demonstrating how to do this, where he's got videos of his clients. He's got videos of his clients' progression. He's got videos of his clients demonstrating exercises. And he makes the client the master of his content. So at the end of the day, it's about your clients. It's not about you. And I think that narcissistic approach with personal trainers now is far too more common than what it is.
Well, I don't think
it was back in the day.
Hi, I'm Yvonne, the founder of Rock Creek.
I'm Steve, Muscle Talks podcast.
We're thrilled at Rock Creek to announce the fact that we're collaborating with Muscle Talks. We're really excited at the opportunity to present our hemp protein product range of pancake mixes and brownie mixes. We also have a fantastic range of toasted granolas and magnesium. So please come to rockcreek.com.au, go to our online store.
And while you're there, type in Muscle Talks 10 to get 10% off. Now go to rockcreek.com.au.
What I don't think you'll survive. And I don't. How old are you?
41, 42 in October.
Okay, I'm 55, but I did a personal training course. I did the one at St Leonard's, AIF, FIA. I don't know what it was at the time. 5-day course. That's what it was then, right?
5 days,
5 days
to be a qualified personal trainer.
5 days.
Wow.
5 days. And I did it in between. I was IT. I was a network engineer. Typical Greek kid. Just fucking do anything, get certificates, and have 3 jobs. But hear me out. When I did it, I did it. And I still do it today because I just went to a coffee account and I gave him some other coffee and I said, try this coffee. He goes, oh, is this somebody else's? And I said, it's another roaster that I have as a contingency. So doing the course, even though I was in IT, we do things, I do certificates to be contingency, to have, well, if that fails, I can do that. I can keep going. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I was a bouncer. I know. I got a security license. Same thing. You know how long it took me to do a security license? You're going to laugh even more. 1 weekend. 2 days,
Yeah,
Saturday, Sunday.
Security license. Yeah, I don't know any different with the security license. I looked into getting my security license too. It was I think it's about a week course now.
Well, now
it
was Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
It was Saturday, Sunday, and the guy looked like a thug, and he was actually an undercover cop. And it's funny how they teach you lessons. And I want to go back to the personal training bit first. When I did the course, they actually taught us aerobics too. That's what it was. It was a course that taught you aerobics too, right? That was one. And the biggest message I got that I walked away from the course, and I use it in business today, it said, don't make your client be your income, meaning you train them, build them, they pay you, you give them wings to fly off on their own and let them bring you new clients. So in other words, don't have people as your money bag. Don't keep them just because you are too scared to let them go and they're your $100 a session and it adds up to your week. What you want to know is, I've had you, this client every week or every day or what, and you think to yourself, do you still need me every day? And they say, and even though they tone you down, you can always remember a good trainer or a good physician that doesn't bring you over and takes your money, And these trainers don't get it because we all work out, what's the first thing you're going to give up when life gets tough? You're going to give up your things like, I'll give you an example, going out and having extra drinks. You're going to give up your personal trainer. You're going to give up.
I think people these days will give up a gym membership and a personal trainer before they'll give up drinking on the weekend.
No, but what I'm saying is, they won't give up. Listen, they won't give up your phone.
Yeah,
they won't give up the credit card. And they won't give up their car and petrol. But the first thing they're going to give up is gym membership, personal trainers. And that's what I'm saying is, if you don't realize how expendable you are, so you've got to create a relationship where you're saying to them, I'm here if you need me, but I don't need to, like, meaning, but what I'd like from you is to give me a good name. If they teach their clients to talk about them and bring referrals to them, that's...
So I'd look at that as a balancing act. I think there's importance from both ends because, say for instance, you've got a regular client and they're bringing in $600 a week income.
Yeah,
it is a big hit to the pocket if you're going to lose them as a client. You know what I mean? And then our personal trainers, obviously, there's personal trainers out there that pay rent. They need to cover rental income and expenses in regards to their business. So I know what you're saying exactly, and 100% agree. But it is a balancing act at the same time. So,
but that's what they taught us. That's what they said to us then.
Yeah,
and it was crickets with personal trainers. You go to the gym and the personal trainer that was there usually was a guy that was competing, training a guy. Myself, that wasn't competing, I really didn't have clients. But I didn't search. I actually had one client and I was trying to pick her up and I trained her for free. that was my Hall of Fame of personal training. I actually had the certificate, did nothing with it, man. I didn't do any, I just got it.
I think there's a lot of people that in the same similar situation as you that they do it as a little bit of a side gig because it seems like a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And it is a cool thing to do. But I think a lot of people, maybe you yourself as a prime example of that, to run a successful personal training business don't really appreciate the hard work and dedication that's involved in getting you to a point where it's an actual business prior to, after the fact that you got your certificate. So a lot of people, literally, they'll get their certificate and I think all the hard work's done. That's just a precursor to what you need to be a qualified personal trainer, and then it's actually running your business after that, and are you a qualified business person after that?
And the other thing was, I'll tell you as well, the reason I didn't pursue personal training, because I was working for HSBC, man. I was on good money. I flew around Australia, setting up networks. But the reason I didn't do it, the main reason, I loved going to the gym so much that I felt if I have to sit there and listen to people whinge to me over, they're paying me. That was then, that I'm trying to make someone train and I've got to turn up for them and I've got to listen to them. It might take away my escape in the gym because you have no idea. I can't not have the gym. I've had it for 35 years and you have no idea. I still don't make friends in there, meaning, I actually don't like going with headphones. I like listening to the noise. I'm not saying I don't train with headphones. I like the noise. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say to you is, because recently I trained at Hardcore Gym in Carlton.
Yep.
Right? And
it's a men's only gym.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what's funny about that. When I first went there about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right? I've trained at Fitness First. I trained at Healthlands. I trained at, you name it, Fitness First, Bond Street, Healthlands. I've trained UFC in Alexandria. I know the owner of Crunch, the Kiwi guy, Samoan, whatever it is. But what I'm getting at is when I go even to Hardcore Gym, man, I don't know anyone there. I don't have a coffee with anyone. 5 years, I don't. But I always like watching the young boys hanging around and posing in front of the mirror. And I remember the days. And to me, that's kind of like what the gym's like, right? But that's why I didn't want to do personal training, because I didn't want to disturb my oasis. That's what
that's fair enough. Though. No, that's a good way to be. Like me personally now, I won't personal train clients. I'm just, because it's my gym now is my business, and it's,
of course.
And I don't feel as passionate about personal training now as I once did back in the day. Yeah.
What I was trying to say is, you're right. You have to look at it as Ace is looking at it, as most are looking at it. That's what I'm saying is Ace is great. I love it. I mean, when I see true clients, it warms my heart. When I see they show me a guy losing weight, not a bodybuilder, I think that's a good trainer. Like, no one understands what we're looking at, and people need to understand your business has more people looking from the fence over than people in it. And if people focus their business on personal training and bringing people in, then I think you're a better business person, you're a better personal trainer, and you've got the right idea. You know what you're doing.
Picking your clientele is very important too. You mentioned that where you talked about not necessarily training a bodybuilder. So many personal trainers now have moved into the whole contest preparation.
Oh my God, what's going on there?
But they've never even competed.
That's
or
right.
they'll compete one time thinking that's all I need to do to be able to call myself a contest prep coach. And this is like a fucking topic that's been talked about.
And what about posing coaches now?
Posing coaches
It's gone
after
too
one
far.
competition.
Yeah, one competition, man.
And that's another thing where the market is so saturated with coaches now. It does feel like, though, that it's starting to drip away a little bit now, where people are starting to recognise who the real coaches are, and look at investing the right amount of money to hire a proper contest prep coach. Because a lot of these other coaches will say, "Look, I can do this for you, but I can do it for half the price." But you've got zero experience, and like if you haven't competed before or competed in multiple shows, won Australian titles, had all the experience that you could possibly get as a competitor, what makes me think that you're good enough or qualified enough to coach me? You know what I mean?
But I just feel, because again, business, I'm in the cafe industry. There's only so many coffees you can serve in one area. And if 10 cafes open up, they're all going to go broke. What I mean is, if everyone's going to be a posing coach, it's not, like I said, just because you did one comp and someone trained you and you think you're a good posing coach and there's a niche, it's actually like I'm still fascinated by Peter Hardwick. Like,
He came up in a conversation the other day. Someone asked me who the best posers in bodybuilding are.
when I watch him,
and there's 3 names: the best posers in Australia: Peter Hardwick, Charlie Duca, Scott Goebel. And I don't even think Scott Goebel does posing much anymore. With
oh my God, he doesn't.
I don't
He's
know.
a great posing
Maybe
coach,
he does,
is he?
I don't know.
No, but
Scott Goebel, if you have a look at back in, if you go, I'm sure, Google Scott Goebel Country Classic.
I've got to watch this
It
now.
was an old Craig Lucas production back in the day. It was the year before I did the Country Classic, I think, but I'm pretty sure he did a guest posing. I'm not too sure, but it was a really good production where, shout out to Craig Lucas too. He used to be a promoter from back in the day. His shows were awesome, and he used to have smoke machines, dim the lights, all of these awesome types of effects on stage, which is pretty much impossible to do now if you're going to run a show with over 200 athletes. But Scott Goebel's posing routine. For
Wow, I'm blown away.
Yeah, no,
because he's so reserved, man.
Yeah, you need to know Scott is. Yeah, he is reserved. Yeah, but he's a character in himself. Yeah.
No, but what I'm getting at is, we've had him on the podcast. I'll just let you know.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, right. yeah.
You guys are hilarious because me and Chris, we've had. But if I told you who we've had on, you'll laugh your head off. You'll laugh your head off. You know who I'm talking to at the moment?
Who?
Sean Ray. Me and him are buddies.
Oh yeah, nice.
Me and Sean Ray are buddies.
Yeah.
His daughter's in Australia right now.
Okay.
With his mum. His daughter, she's 18, I think 19. She's a singer, and she's a bit like Destiny's Child kind of singer, right? And out of the blue, I get a message on WhatsApp, and it's Sean Ray. He goes, "Hey, my wife and daughter's coming to Australia. Do you know any music promoters like me?" And I'm like, I said, "I don't know, like, because I've asked him to come on the podcast, and he replied. I've asked Milos Sanchez, and he's replied, but they're not coming on yet, right?" Anyway, I said to, it's hilarious, isn't it? I said to Sean Ray, "I don't know any music promoters. I don't think I do." And I said to Chris, "Do you know anything?" And then I realised my neighbour across the road does things like with Jimmy Barnes and big. So I just said to my guy across the road, his name's Steve. I said, "Steve, I got this guy from America." So I've put Sean's daughter in contact with this guy. So they're in Australia right now, and I said, I said, give her my number. If your wife and daughter get stuck or they're worried, anything, I'm your man. I'll go be security for them. But I said, "Do you think she wants to come on the podcast?" And he says, "Oh, I'll ask her." Because I think asking the daughter of a great bodybuilder, what was it like living with that kind of guy?
And story,
and it'll be an interesting. That's what I'm saying is this podcast isn't just about bodybuilding. It's bodybuilding in a circle of. If she's got 1.7 million followers and she's a singer, I want to ask her, was watching her dad compete at the highest level, did that motivate her? And what was it like watching your dad with diets, all this kind of stuff I wanted to ask. But I don't think she's going to come on. But I don't know where I've gone with this now. How did we get into Sean Ray? Does anybody know? Peter Hardwick, Scott Goebel. Oh, no, we're saying you don't know. What I'm saying is the people we've had on here.
Yeah.
You'll find it quite funny. Have a scroll through and you're going to like Andrew, strength coach, Andrew Locke we've had on. Like I said, the array of people, we've had some great people. To be honest, I feel like you're one of the biggest rock stars we're having on here. So
That's a nice compliment.
It is. No, because, to be honest.
Just remind Scott Goebel about that. Just tell him I was a little bit bigger than him.
Scott's been complaining about that all through the podcast. It's a big complaint about who's bigger and who's bigger. He talked about, what was his name?
Shembury. Luke Shembury.
No, not, was it Luke Shembury or the other Greek, a Greek guy, a guy that we're pretty far in. He brought up many bodybuilders about size, and he was just happy, even if you got third place, if you beat somebody else that was bigger, he was first. That was like first place for him. So it was a great podcast. So we've had, like I said, we're getting a few people on here, but I guess what we were talking about, like I said, trainers, perception. This is what I wanted to ask you, and posing coaches. This is me as a spectator, right? I'm watching the sport, and I remember seeing Dorian Yates come to Australia. Mm-hmm. He came to Australia, and he was a guest poser. Off season, he was two of you. I'm telling you, man, it was like, that's when I knew I could never get to Olympia when I saw Doreen Yates, right? That's the truth, right? So I get how everyone's feeling and talking and they can do it, yes, because it's a little bit, not different, it just, we didn't know the hard work. It was just chicken and rice, man. We didn't know calories in, calories out. We just knew a lot of cardio, training hard, different style of training, off season, on season, spotting. Yeah, it was just a lot of push. I'd say to Terry, who was Mr. Australia and has competed next to Ronnie Coleman, Terry Mitchell, I want to get him on, but he said no all the time. He lives in Earlwood. I'd say to Terry, he was pretty big in Australia then. I said, as big as John Torelli in a sense, but John Torelli went further, right? And so did Lee Priest and a few others. I said to Terry, I need to grow. How do I grow? And he goes, eat more. That's all he said. He never said to me steroids. He never said anything about that. They never.
I speak to any old school bodybuilder and they'll have the same advice.
Yeah.
I knew straight away what you were going to say.
Yeah.
Even Lee Priest, the same advice that he given him.
He goes, you're not. And they never even spoke about principles. You're not pushing hard enough and you're not eating enough. And even if I said, I eat, like everyone talking now, but I eat chocolate cake and donuts inside my calories, they'll just go, what? Like the way don't you think, I'll ask you, how do you feel about all this food talk at the moment? I personally feel the way influencers are talking and carrying on, they're giving us a negative stigma in the bodybuilding industry because we never starved ourselves. We actually ate so well and so clean, and we had such disciplines that the only time we found it hard was when you wanted to compete, you bring your calories down, or you wanted to look good for summer or a European trip. Like you would gauge yourself to balance out. But don't you think everybody's has taken density out of food, micronutrients out of food, to not like talk about the fact that or maybe you did as well, I'd have 6 egg whites every morning. I'd be chicken breasts. Like that's how do you feel about the food talk at the moment?
I think the whole if it fits your macros thing is kind of a bit outdated now, and people are starting to understand the importance of micronutrients and macronutrients a little bit more now. But I think what a lot of people do with the whole if it fits your macros thing and just counting calories in versus calories out and looking at protein, fats, and carbs, thinking it's that simple. Well, it's not that simple because there's immeasurable inflammatory responses when it comes to eating bad foods in comparison to, and even the word clean foods. I still use the term clean foods, but it's just an easier way of me to describe the boring foods. You know what I mean? But 100%. It is a lot simpler than what it needs to be, or a lot simpler than how people have overcomplicated it. Like, just the old school way just works so much better, I think, too. Like, and the people that do well on stage now, and you see them on stage and they have physiques that kind of emulate that old school look, that dry skin. Mm-hmm. They're old school. They're suffering when it comes to the diet. You have to suffer when it comes to bodybuilding. Like if you're not depleted, if you're not feeling like you're dragging your feet walking at least 4 weeks out, and there are prep coaches that have techniques to help you feel better, and a lot of them are a lot more educated than other prep coaches because they have cards up their sleeves that know. Even by looking at you, but they know when it's time for a refeed. Yeah. They know, okay, all right, we're kind of getting to a point now where we're not making any progress. We need to tweak this, or this. That all comes with experience. Where there's prep coaches out there that have no idea about that. You know what I mean? So the whole if it fits your macros thing, it's good to measure things, and it might be okay for the general public, but there's so much more to it than just a simple fats, protein, carb.
And I think the mistake I'm seeing, because I get it. They're saying the word fat loss. We got it. But everyone's not hearing the word fat loss and think it's all about bodybuilding. It's not.
I think they're saying the word weight loss.
Weight loss now, are they?
And the weight loss, like that whole Ozempic type thing now, where everyone's taking that drug Ozempic. I think it's diabetes type medication. Dramatic weight loss. Yeah. But I think that now statistics show that 2/3 of that weight loss is muscle loss.
See,
so they're actually physically, when you break it down and calculate in percentages, that weight loss from muscle and fat loss. If you're saying 2/3 is what you're actually getting fatter, because your weight has dropped down to from here to here.
Yeah.
Your muscle mass has dropped from here to here. You're actually physically, when you break it down and you compare percentage-wise of how much body fat your body's carrying, you're actually a fatter person.
And that's what I'm saying. Like and I feel watching it from far as a spectator and the love of the sport. I'm telling you, the love of the sport. I'll tell you, to simplify it, off season, the gains time, it meant I could eat, instead of quarter chicken, I could buy half a chicken. That was putting on size.
Depends who you talk to.
No, but what I'm trying to say to you is, I'm not saying just
You're
that.
talking about like eating shit to is like calories in.
What I mean is when we were training back in the day, our food never changed when we were bulking. It never changed when we were leaning up. What I'm saying to you is we ate less. So when we were bulking, the plate was more rice, more chicken.
Look, genetics plays a major part in that too. Yeah. I know Lee Priest, and I remember seeing Lee Priest approach someone and said he saw him eating chicken and rice and veggies, and he said, "What are you trying to achieve?"
Really?
And he said, "I'm bulking," and he said, "We'll go and get a fucking Big Mac. You're a string bean. Why are you eating that shit?" Literally ripped him to shreds. Yeah. Like, ripped him to shreds. And back in the day, that's what Lee used to do. I think there's photos of him carrying a bucket of chicken and things like that. Yeah, but that's what they used to do.
But isn't that his genetics though, really?
Exactly. That's what I meant. That comes down to genetics. Like if I look at a donut, I get fatter. Just by looking at it and breathing the air around it, I get fatter.
Mate, I didn't even look at it. I just think about it.
Yeah, that's right.
I've already put on kilos.
Yeah, no. So, I have to eat clean all year round, or else I get fat. I have to do cardio all year round.
Yeah. So and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you want to enter this sport now, like I said, genetic freaks and people like Lee Priest, they can. But if you want to enter this sport, it's a very simple sport. It's probably one of the simplest. And the greatest thing about bodybuilding, you can only do certain things to a certain time. Like you can only play soccer. Like you can play soccer forever if you want, but you can only do so much in certain sports that make you retire on the sport. But you can train at 80 years old, 85 years old in the gym. Like the gym has no finish line. There's no finish line. There's no finish line. That's one thing great about this sport. But what I do know is fundamentally this sport is about exceeding the average person, meaning if you go to the gym, you'll be stronger than the average 60-year-old, because if you're benching 20 kilos, when you do it, compounding it towards the end of the year, you're probably going to bench 25 kilos. So you're 5 kilos stronger than the average 60. So that's great. Now, what do you need to do that's different to everybody else is make sure you're having the right fuels. You need your proteins, you need your carbohydrates. So that's all it is. So what I mean is when I was training back then, and we had winter clothing and summer clothing, bulk clothing. Bulk clothing was mostly tracksuits, and then you had your summer clothing. And I would go, like I said, summertime, it was like let's say October, November. Now I'd start dialing it down for the 1st of December. So when I went to the chicken shop, I'd go, rice, the fried rice, give me the small container. And chicken, quarter chicken, man. And that was it. But when it was bulk season, I go large fried rice and give me half a chicken. And I'd sit there, and that would be me bulking now. I think everyone goes like, it doesn't change very much your diet. It is boring. It's one of the most boringest.
That's how that's my day-to-day diet now. Like I'm trying to get leaner now, so I've just cut down the quantities. Like my missus is like, how many carbs are you having tonight? How many potatoes are you having? Yeah. So just 150 grams now, where if I was trying to get bigger, I'd have 300.
Yeah, and 100%. And when we talk about refeed, I'm doing a bit of a refeed at the moment. So you know what I've introduced for my refeed? Pasta. And it's been amazing, man. Just even the like you said, the inflammation, it actually makes me feel a little bit more fuller at the moment in my clothes, because I was so depleting down. So then I went the last 2 weeks, I've just, instead of rice, I've just been buying pasta, and I've been cooking pasta with bolognese. I'm finding my protein somewhere else. I think I need to have some fun. And it's actually woken me up again. I'm like, I feel stronger. So like I said, people don't understand how simple bodybuilding really is. It's more complicated if you are trying to have chocolate cake and count that calories.
Oh, yeah, 100%. They overcomplicate things, like you said, And it's simple, but people just don't have the discipline. Straight up, they food is for fuel, not for pleasure. And if they can kind of get that ingrained into their brains and think that way, like for me, food is pleasure once a week. And I say once a week, I probably blow out on weekends altogether now, but. I save my cheat meals. I won't eat any chocolate or anything like that until a Saturday night, and then that's when I don't give a fuck. I'm just eating whatever I want.
All right, I got to ask this question then because this is going to be funny. So, I'm the same with you. Cheap, like living for the weekend. You know what? Big pork ribs at grill, whatever it is, or big pizza, family pizza, because that's how you eat, and you're going to eat your kids' pizza as well. That's your cheat meal, right? But. I'd buy a Magnum, Magnums, and I'd go, all right, there's 4 in there. So it's me, Giselle, Ruby, and Yanni. That's my kids, right? And I'd get the Magnums on a Thursday, and they'd all attack the Magnums, and I'd just leave my one. They say, why don't you eat yours? I said, I want it on Saturday.
Yeah.
You never made it.
Someone
else ate it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying is you're going to see all your cheat meals are gone. And then you're going to go, they're going to say to you this is what they're going to say to you. But you can go buy another one. And you go, no, that's not the thing. I know I can go buy it anytime. Yeah. I just know I bought it to plan it and you've taken away my
I wouldn't
plan.
torture myself like that anyway. I'd go get everything I want to eat on that day.
All right. I would. Yeah. No, because
there's nothing in the fridge for me because not that I don't have the discipline, but I'd want it fresh. Because even like I look at what I'm going to I feel like that day too, so I might not feel like a Magnum. I might feel like something else, you know what I mean? So I might feel like yeah.
No, but anyway, I just know nothing ever made it.
Yeah.
And I used to go to them, because I'd go Saturday, it'd be Saturday, right? I'd go to the gym on Saturday morning, and on Saturdays after the gym, you might shave and you feel good and you're pumped, and that's when you put on your skinny jeans and you got your fucking t-shirt on, and then I open up the freezer, I go, where's my fucking Magnum?
They took it. I'll get used to that, I reckon.
Yeah, it's going to happen. That's what I'm saying to you. It's going to happen.
Boys are a bit too young for that, but
they're a bit too young.
Definitely.
It's going to happen because when you shop and you're at the shops and your kids are older, they're going to say, oh, can you get Magnums, Dad? And you go, oh, yeah, I might make that as a cheat meal. So you buy them. So you go, right, everybody, just leave. They'll say to you, your kids will say, have it now, Dad. And you'll go, no, I don't want it today. I'm going to have it on Saturday. And they're going to say, oh, discipline, Dad. And then what's going to happen, though? You're going to open it. What the fuck's that mean? And that's when you go, I can't be fucked going to get a Magnum. So that's what I'm saying. All right, since we're laughing a little bit, I need to know, what's this Penrith Panthers thing? So did you grow up around the area?
Yeah.
All right, so you're...
from Penrith, yeah.
Penrith, 41... Wow, some big changes firstly out of Penrith, huh?
Yeah.
Because when you were possibly, so you're 15 years younger than me, I'd say, right?
15 you said?
15 years younger.
Yeah,
You're 41 or 55.
Yeah.
So 14 years. So what I'm getting at is, I remember seeing a girl out at Penrith one time, right? I used to go out there with my Valiant to go see this girl. She liked me from work, right? But I remember going out to Penrith and going, what is this country out here? Like,
there was nothing out there.
There was nothing out there, right? And there was no M4. There was nothing. Like, it took you forever to get out there. And my Valiant was perfect for out there. Like, it looked like it was perfect for this, but it was a Wogs car, it was fluffy dice on it. But it just amazes me how much Penrith has changed. It's an amazing place. It's actually like a little bit of an entertainment place when you go there. Yeah, heaps. Well, I want to know the Panthers, man. Are they going to do?
Oh, look, we lost last night and Cleary's injured, so Cleary got injured.
Yeah, what happened there? I saw a little bit of shoulder.
Yeah,
is it shoulder?
I'm honestly, everyone's saying, why do you keep looking at your phone? I'm just trying to find out the update on how bad his injury is. Because
So who did you play last night?
A Storm, so it was first, second, yeah.
Oh, I got a question on Storm too.
Yeah.
So you guys played Storm, and what happened to Cleary? I haven't watched the game.
Yeah, he got injured during the game. He started clutching at a shoulder after a tackle, so yeah. But so
we don't know what it is exactly.
No, and if you're going to ask me how they're going to go this year, it all depends on whether or not he's going to be okay or not. Yeah, it could be a season-ending injury, so hopefully not. Yeah.
Since we'll talk a bit about rugby league. Firstly, 3 in a row, and I don't know what it is about Penrith. I think we all love them for some reason. If it was Roosters, if it was Dogs, I think it would be a different story. But for some reason, this relationship between the Cleary, the father and son, and the whole what Gould has done for Penrith to show what rugby league is really like, and even though you've got a star player, which is Cleary, I can see, because I'm a Dogs fan, I can see at the moment this Penrith and Gould idea, he's brought it to the Dogs. Who's the star player at the Dogs? Nobody. It's the whole team. And what I mean is when they lapse or they're missing a person, we seem to...
The next man up mentality.
The next man. And you've got this next man up mentality. So, like I said, I think it resonates well with the Penrith community around there. That's what I'm trying to say to you. It's quite a family side.
It's changed the community there. Like you honestly could feel it last night. Like we were at the game. My sister came with me because my dad didn't want to come last night. But when Cleary got injured, so the crowd was like so loud and so boisterous throughout the entire game. When Cleary got injured, it was just an eerie silence.
Wow.
And it was just like no one spoke. Everyone just went, "Oh no!" But it was eerie, like I said, and it just showed me like how much this team means to the community now, and that one player also, Cleary.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Best player in the world.
He's a great kid too.
But it's been awesome for the community. Definitely been awesome for the community and how well they've gone. Yeah.
I think this year, because we'll just go small on this at the moment. Firstly, I feel there's only been one side that's mimicked or plays at the moment like Penrith, and it was prior to Penrith. It was Melbourne. Melbourne had this filter system and players coming in, and they just slotted in perfect.
Well, they proved it this year too, because if you can name, you can't even name half the team.
And that's what I'm saying. And Penrith, but at the moment, I'm a Dogs fan, and the great thing I'm watching, because why I know we're winning now and why it's working, because I'll let you know quickly. My cousin played for the Dogs.
Okay.
George Paponis.
Oh, yeah.
And he played for Australia.
Yeah.
And he captained Australia. So he's the first ever. He was born in Greece, but he came here when he was 2 years old. The first not born Australian to captain Australia, and he's 60 something. But he, Fitler knows him. Everyone knows him. He was a doctor, and one thing I know about the and I used to go to because I'm a WOG. I used to go to my uncle's name day. His dad name day. His name is Chris. Chris's name day's on Christmas. So we'd open presents, and at night we'd go to our name day party. And the coach, Mortimer's, Hughes's, would be at the barbecue eating the steaks that the Slovlakia, the shish kebabs. They'd be there, and I'd be going like, who are these guys? And it'd be all the Canterbury Leagues Club, Canterbury players. But one thing I realised this year why we're doing so well and what Gould's done is we don't perform if we don't play like family. If we're not family orientated, if we're not...
Yeah, he's brought that culture.
If we're not bouncing kids on our laps and not having barbecues with each other and we're not family, we go no. And the Dogs, because of the Lebs and the Greeks, and we're family oriented. And I think that's what it is with Penrith as well. And that's why I said there's sides that look that part, and that's why they win. Penrith is family orientated. Dogs right now is family orientated. Melbourne can only be family orientated in Melbourne. They've got each other. And I think when you've got each other, that's what makes a good squad. Yeah. And that's why this year, I don't know if Penrith's going to get number 4. Not that I think Dogs is going to take it. What I'm saying is it looks like everyone's slotted into this position, and knowing the magic of Penrith, they're doing it now.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't think you can get away with it now.
But when you and this is going to be me bagging out the Bulldogs a bit, but not really bagging them out. But when you take Gould's been very strategic with the players and the coaching staff that he's picked with him, because he's taken the assistant coach from Penrith, and that assistant coach from Penrith,
and he's taken Penrith players.
Yeah, and that assistant coach from Penrith is that he knew that if he took Ciraldo, he's gonna do well, because Ciraldo is the coach that coached all of those Penrith juniors who are now playing for NRL. So Crichton, now he's got Kikac, Burton. Ciraldo was their coach back when they were coming through the ranks. You know what I mean? So Gould's very strategic. He knows if I bring Ciraldo, then a lot of Penrith juniors are going to come with him, and that's what happened. And half the team is Penrith. You steal our slogans, you steal everything.
Cut it out, mate.
Steal our coaches, but look, it's cute. It's cute watching Penrith reserve grade do well.
Listen. Do you want me to start with? Do you want me to start with Sonny Bill Williams, Willie Mason?
Look, back in the day,
Willie Mason.
Back in the day,
wait a minute. Willie Mason, Jonathan Thurston, Braithen Astor. Do you know how much rape and pillage has come through the Dogs? What they've taken from us?
Don't forget you let go of Jonathan Thurston.
Stupidity. I know. But what I'm getting at is,
look, they were a powerhouse back in the day, and the days that you're talking about with the Mortals and everything like that. But even like that era with Willie Mason, with Braithen Astor, El Masri. All of those players, they were an awesome team.
Halligan,
and 100%,
Halligan.
And the Doggies, they literally, they struggled for so many years because they were missing that culture of the club. And now it's back there. They're doing really well. And they don't have the team on paper to be in the position that they're at now. But it's because they turn up every week. They're playing. Toby Sexton, I'd say bottom 5 halfbacks in the whole NRL, but he's playing like he's top 5.
But that's what I'm saying to you, that's what Gould, like I know who we've brought over, but that's what I'm saying is it doesn't matter. We don't have a star player, and I still think
Crichton's that star player. Crichton's probably the best player in the league at the moment. Yeah,
he is. Yeah. But what I'm saying to you is, even you've got the best player halfback in the world, which is Cleary, but even when he's not there, you guys still perform. That's what I'm saying to you is your side is built on many, and that's what I think makes a good side. And I think Melbourne's been the only side for many years to have that.
Be able to do
you
that,
came along, but now there's a few people sniffing. The Dogs are sniffing that way. Melbourne's still sniffing that way. You guys now are.
Well, that's like business too.
That's
like if you're a business owner and you see, like as a gym owner, if this gym's killing it, doing this, and this, what are we going to learn from that team? And if you've got a team that have made the grand final 4 years in a row, won 3 of them, they're obviously doing something right. So what can we learn from those guys? And that's what every other team's doing, yeah.
So how do we learn from you then? Because at the end of the day, I heard that you are firstly, let's talk about your business accolade. You were part of a world gym before, is that correct? Before this one, before Marsden Park, you were a partnership in one, is that correct? Chullora, correct?
Yeah.
And Chullora was very successful, correct? Yeah. Right? And then, like, intervened at any point, and then I heard when you went to Marsden Park, you were already a success before you started it because of your business accolades and building in the community memberships. There was something about you were doing something before you even opened the doors.
Pre-sales,
So tell me about, because I think not many people do that, and you're in a competitive world, but you've done amazing things with World Gym. And like I said, some of the people that have told me about you have spoken about your business accolades.
Yeah.
And that, like, not that anything you touch turns to gold. I think what you're doing is that, like I said, you've, like Penrith and like all this rugby league stuff we spoke about, and Gould being smart. What is it about creating, and you just said you signed a lease for a second gym. Why, with a market that's so competitive, so saturated, and you know, what is it that makes a successful gym? And what made you, even before opening up, make it successful, as I've heard?
What's made Penrith so successful the last 4 years? What were we talking about? Culture.
Yeah, culture.
And I think that's the biggest thing. That community culture, that family orientated culture. And that's what we wanted to bring to our gym in Marsden Park. It's family owned and operated. We have people that have families that like we've got family members that work there. We've got our customer service manager, her daughter's working there now. Like, our creche manager, I should say, she raised our customer service manager's kids, so she knows. Like I wouldn't say it's incestuous, but we wanted to create that family orientated type atmosphere in the gym, and that's why when I moved to Marsden Park, I moved there and we inquired at a few gyms. It was right before COVID, I think it was, and my wife wanted to train somewhere in the meantime. She knew that we were going to open, but it was going to be a while before we opened. And we inquired at a few gyms, and I could see that the customer service was lacking in certain areas. No gym in the area offered a creche, things like that. So we basically went in there with the ambitions to create a community, and that's what we did. And I think people could feel that in our pre-sales period with our socials and our engagement with local business owners that no one else has ever done before, but we engaged local business owners to get involved in our socials before we even opened the doors, and then we kind of put together a large list of leads from that, and then when we opened our doors with good numbers, and a lot of gyms follow suit now, and World Gym has been doing that for a while now with their pre-sales for any club, and I'm not going to say that I was the first to think of the idea, but it just comes with the brand, with World Gym. And we try to make sure that every one of our clubs is that family-orientated club. It's a gym for everyone. World Gym, back in the day, had that stigma, was a bodybuilder's gym. And back when Mike Nice and John Davies started World Gym in Australia, World Gym Penrith was the first gym in the country. And I was their first ever employee as a World Gym. I was the first one for the whole company. And there
was one in Bankstown too, wasn't there?
Yeah, that was the second one that opened up, actually. Sunshine, and then they closed down, and then Bankstown in Sydney, yeah. But yeah, and that was the thing. It was, and the motto was real gyms, real people, real results. That was the motto back in the day, and it was about removing that stigma that people had with World Gym, thinking that it was just a bodybuilder's gym. We're going to introduce group fitness. We're going to have a creche so you can bring your kids. And now, if you look at the ratios of numbers, it's 50% male and female, where females feel comfortable coming in and training on the gym floor. And the gym goer demographic has changed a lot since we started World Gym in Australia, which was about 15, 16 years ago now, where females do feel more comfortable training on the gym floor. But it's just that culture and the culture associated with World Gym as a brand, I think, is just makes it easier to kind of relate that to the logo now even.
Definitely I remember when I started in Bankstown, it seemed like it was catering to the serious bodybuilder.
Bankstown back in the day was a little bit different because the demographic out there is very much like it was Chullora.
But like you said, it's shifted completely now.
That's right. But even that, say for instance, gyms that we still offer the highest quality. If I showed you my equipment order for the next gym, you'll freak out at how much it costs. We still have the best quality gym equipment for anyone and everyone. So you can be someone that's going to appreciate that equipment, or you can be someone that doesn't really know the difference between that dumbbell or that dumbbell. Do you know what I mean? But we're still going to offer the best. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of gyms now that open up, and there's gyms popping up everywhere, a lot of gyms won't invest in high quality equipment because they're like, well, our members aren't going to know the difference anyway, so what's the point?
No, they don't.
But a lot of people don't. You know what I mean? Like I had a person that came in the other day, they said, look, I joined up down the road because I like their cross trainer better. I'm like, cross trainers are probably worth about 20 grand more, but that's all right. And that's what I mean, where he doesn't know the difference. But we don't want to offer a cheap product thinking that people aren't going to know the difference. We want to offer the best, and all are welcome at the end of the day. It doesn't matter who you are or what type of person you are and what type of training you want to do. If you want to do functional, we've got our functional training area. You want to do a spin class, we've got a spin room. You want to do Reformer Pilates, we've got Reformer Pilates. We've got everything now.
Let me tell you, I'll tell you something as just like I said, a spectator at times. You know, when I was training at Fitness First, I'm not here to bag Fitness First, but when I was training at Fitness First, obviously it was elaborate in some ways, the feeling, the mood and all going on. But the funniest thing is when you go to other gyms, when you start joining other gyms and come back to Fitness First, which when I look at their equipment and the amount of equipment, I think, how was I paying my membership here? This has got nothing. So what I mean is you do work out when you leave a gym if you go to another gym and they don't have the equipment that you were used to, or you've left the gym and gone to try something else and you go back, you go, oh my God, I'm going to go back. And I think I'm not saying with World Gym, I tell you what I feel with World Gym when I look at it from the outside looking in. It reminds me of the Arnold Schwarzenegger days. It reminds me of that era. It's somehow the logo, the feel reminds me of the Gold's Gym, but it reminds me of an era. But you've modernized it. So it's kind of like, it seems like it has, but it seems like it's been around forever. It was the pristine of pristines. That's how I feel. But it's been a bit more contemporary now. Like it's a bit more inviting. Yeah. And that's what I've realized, because when I look at it, I always think old school in my head, old school. But you've given it modern school as well. So it's kind of got, it makes me feel like it's bodybuilding when I look at it.
Yeah, no. And the brand's like totally evolving all the time too. So we're always looking for ways to introduce things to make our clubs better. So we're not going to be stuck in our ways and think this is a World Gym, this is us as a brand. We're never going to offer this. We're never going to offer that. That they can go there, and that, but we're never going to be that way. If people have a general interest in this and it's related to health and fitness and it's going to make their lives better, fucking oath we'll introduce it. So we're introducing wellness hubs now into our clubs where we've got our infrared saunas, our ice baths, all of that kind of stuff. Beresfield just opened up with an awesome wellness centre. Marconi just got new owners. They're introducing that now. We're going to have it at our next club. We've got it already at Marsden Park. Reformer Pilates. We were the first club in the state to introduce Reformer Pilates. Now all clubs are starting to bring it on board because of how popular it is. We're always looking to constantly evolve, and we're on top of making sure that we are seeing what's a trend out there, and if it's something that's going to benefit people and it's something that's going to generally help the population with their health and fitness, then we'll definitely bring it on board, and we're not going to turn a blind eye to things just because it doesn't fit our brand. Why wouldn't we evolve?
Where are you opening? Or you can't disclose
look, it's early days. It's probably... Yeah, no. Look, it's... Yeah, I'll keep it under wraps for now.
Yeah, that's all right. Don't I?
It's still a few months. Yeah.
I tried to push it as a reporter.
I just don't. The only reason why I'll tell you why is because I don't like for people to get excited about it, thinking that's an immediate thing. It's not until about April, May next year where we're actually going to open the doors. So if word starts getting around too early, and then they're like, "Why are they taking so long to open?" I'm like, "Well, I never told you. It takes a long time to open a gym. It's not something that." Yeah, it takes many years to get the club open. Yeah,
I'm not good at telling anyone anything anyway. I like to show them. So I think it's always best when you go have a look.
About 4 months before we open, I'll let everyone know. Here we are. This is where we're going to open. I think it is with it around the area. It's probably the worst kept secret. People know that we're coming.
Who knows? So you know what? Let's ask. I put a questionnaire out there, and I think I showed you some of the questions prior. So let's answer these questions in the best way possible. Okay, you ready to go with it?
Here we go.
All right, we've got. I don't know who Ray.
I know who he is.
0087 is.
I know exactly.
You know,
who he
right?
is. Yeah.
His first question is he natural?
The way I'll answer that is compared to if I'm going to compare my protocol to Ray's protocol, I'm as natural as it gets. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And he's got another question, man. He's here to probe. He goes, what's his AAS protocol?
I don't even know what AAS stands for. Do you know what AAS stands for?
I don't know. Is that what it said? Yeah. AAS protocol is. He's too big for 1 mil of tests a week.
Like you said, you just got to eat right and make sure that you're not just putting all your eggs into one basket and relying on pharmaceuticals to get you to look.
100%. All right, I think we've answered it comically. All right. Barakat.
Yeah, Ahmed. He's actually my business partner. He doesn't like to say so, but here we go.
Everyone's hitting the gear on you, man.
I walked into the gym
How
this
much
morning.
gear do you actually run to have legs like that?
I train legs. And he's Lebanese, so he wouldn't even know what that means, training legs.
No, they never trained him in the 70s or 80s. They never trained
I'll show him how to do a squat one day, and then he'll realise.
Do you know why Lebs have big traps? Because every time the cops ask them, what do, they go, nothing.
Oh, there you go. I thought it had something to do with them being handcuffed like that.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get hate mail now. We're going to get heaps of hate mail. All right, let's step out to... you were a PE teacher.
Yeah.
So tell us about that journey. What made you become a PE teacher? That's one. Growing up, were you academic or just strong in sport? What was it?
No, I was academic. I was actually one of the smarter kids at school. And then that kind of started to fall away. Year 10, year 11, where I just stopped caring much about...
What did that happen?
Oh, nothing really. Just got to an age where I just cared about hanging out with mates. So I was never really a rebel or anything. Never got into much trouble at all when I was young. But... 11 and 12, just a school that I went to wasn't really too high in academic achievement, and it was just about turning up every day and making sure that you were present. So, and then left school and studied graphic design as soon as I got out. So I was a graphic designer for...
Okay.
Yeah, still am. Still do a lot of graphic design for all my clubs, everything like that.
Yeah.
I do everything myself, video editing, all that kind of stuff. But I worked as a graphic designer. As soon as I left uni for graphic design, I got offered a job. It was a...
So wait, when you did PE, you went to uni?
That was after though.
All right, so hang on. So you went to university to do graphic design?
Yeah.
You finished uni.
And then I got offered a position as a student. So they said, look, we're only offering this to one student. Here's your opportunity. And I said, sweet. Worked as a graphic designer for 3 months. And it's a funny story, actually. So... It would have been...
Chris is interested.
So it would have been 2003. So I forgot my time. 2003, yeah. So Penrith made the grand final. And I hated but graphic design. I hated working in an office. So I was there literally...
Is that Sattler's tackle on the sideline?
Hey?
Was it Sattler's tackle on the grand final?
Yeah, it was, 2003.
Yeah,
it was 2003, and I used to literally, I knew when working as a graphic designer and being there at a desk, staring at the fat guy in front of me, sweating in the middle of the winter with the aircon blaring on him, thinking, I don't want to end up looking like that guy. I was at the gym every single day, used to try and leave early every day, so I wasn't a model employee. And one day I called in sick, faked cough on the phone, said, I can't come in. And then I rocked up on Monday. They called me to the office and they said, were you sick on Friday? I said, yeah. They go, well, we saw you on TV. I said, I was on doing TV. So Penrith made the grand final. And back then you couldn't buy tickets online. You had to line up at Kikac, which used to be like at Grace Brothers back in the day. Like, so we had to line up at Kikac, and we had to literally.
And don't forget, they saw you on TV. We didn't have phones back then. They would have fucking.
Well, we camped out the night before. Yeah. So we camped out the night before to get tickets the next day for the 2003 Grand Final, and Channel 9 and Channel 7
that's
and
what
all
I was
of that
going
were
to say.
there.
Right, yeah.
And they rocked up, and I'm there in my old brown and white jersey with a flag wrapped around my head, carrying on like a lunatic. And then they were like, we saw you, and then really sure came to an mutual agreement, maybe this job isn't for me, and left graphic design, and yeah.
That was it.
That was
the
it.
love affair for Canberra. And never looked
So I
back
blame the
since.
Panthers 2003 Grand Final for that, yeah. But I don't have a single regret in the world.
Of course. And then PE teacher?
And then PE teacher. So it was kind of like at a crossroads of what I wanted to do with myself. I was working in a warehouse, depressed as shit. And started, I remember having a conversation with someone back when I was, I see you being a PE teacher. And it was something that I did for a while. I studied for 4 years, the course was, and then started teaching straight away. And then it was something that I did casually a lot while working at a gym. So World Gym came about as I was studying to be a PE teacher. So I was offered the opportunity as a full-time role, but studying at the same time. And I was actually a strength and conditioning coach for Penrith Reserve grade back then too, which was the Windsor Wolves. So
wow.
I was doing a lot of things at the same time. And then I didn't want to leave World Gym. So then when the opportunity came and I actually graduated as a teacher, I never really took it on full time until later on in the career. And it was years after I actually became a qualified teacher that I actually went to a full time, which I did for a while. Yeah.
At schools? Teacher
at
school?
Yeah.
How'd you find that?
Yeah, I loved it. I actually really liked it. Yeah, I wasn't really a great teacher, but I was good at connecting with the kids. And I got offered a position where we created at my old school at Prairie Wood High School a wellbeing hub where we looked after disengaged kids, and I ran that. So I looked after all the kids that were in trouble outside of school and very rarely rocking up to school. Kids that get kicked out of class, they'd come and see me, and I'd make sure that they're not getting into more trouble. And that was my role there, and loved it. And then the opportunity came to open up Chullora, and then I had to kind of pick between the two, and took that, and then sold that, and now Marsden Park, and haven't looked back since. Yeah.
Never looked back, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I saw PE teacher, I went, and I'm always mesmerised by people with their academics. I think when I was at school, I was a little bit, I don't know if I was like dyslexic or I just was bored. It wasn't just a place for me, right? And so I had a couple of good years, and I realised those good years was when I became disciplined. But it seems like as I've aged, and like you can take the kid out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the kid. But the thing is, I've learned my intelligence has changed. Like I've grown even more. I'm more intelligent than people that have had academia. Like their life skills are really crap. And like I said, they're just stuck in certain ways. So I don't find necessarily always schooling is got the best practice for anything going forward. It's just a building block. You can just do better with it. Like
that's right.
So, so since we're talking about, I want to talk about philosophy. There was a person that introduced schooling in 1796. His name was Horace Mann. That's what Horace Mann, born in Franklin, Massachusetts. Anyway, he's got a famous quote. I looked it up, and it says, "Life grants nothing to us mortals." So life grants nothing to us humans without hard work. How do you interpret that?
I'd probably look at that in modern ways and think that a lot of people could probably take value from that quote and think that nothing is given to them. Where a lot of people now just think that they just expect things to just fall in their lap. Where you actually, to be successful, you need to work hard. And then you need to also recognise that success can get taken away from you like that. So never get comfortable and always make sure that you constantly have a purpose and keep working hard throughout your entire life, because things definitely don't get handed to you, and unfortunately that's the way a lot of people, especially the younger generation, kind of act these days. They just have unrealistic expectations and are a little bit entitled.
I've noticed that, like I said recently with my kid getting his license, he was getting his license yesterday, which I said about, and he was talking to me about getting a car on the weekend. I won't go into the cars right now, but I said to him, I just got my license. When I got my license, I didn't think about a car. And I said, I had a father that never gave me his car. But you seem to think everyone would give you a car to drive, but you want to get your car and you're not patient enough. Like It's true. There's a lot of entitlement going on. What do you think of that quote, Chris? Life grants nothing to us mortals without hard work.
No, yeah, I do agree with Mark. I think nothing just comes out of nowhere.
It doesn't unless you come from a family that is full of money, maybe so.
Yeah, but then they're just going to be a brat. They're not going to know the values of things. They're just going to be sport. Like, it's just, they're not going to feel any sense of achievement. You know what I mean? Like when they're in that type of situation.
No.
Just, like, nothing's going to feel exciting. Like they're just,
I'm going to tell you a funny story about yesterday, all right? This is what I'm saying. Skills, 42, 55. So my son, he woke up frazzled, right? And because I don't think he prepared right to go for this test, and his mum wasn't happy. And he spoke to me over the phone saying, please don't agree with her. And I said, tell me the story. So when he told me, I just said, and I don't expect the same in return because it won't be in return. I just said, look, I can see where she's coming from, and I tend to agree. You don't seem to be taking it very seriously right now. And then he told me she's allowing him to go for the test. I said, that's cool, let's go. So we went to I met him at the RTA. So he's there with his mate. I met him at the RTA because he thinks I've got to sign something. He's standing in front of the guy. The guy's name's Harry. A little bit Asian looking kind of guy, but Harry. And I see my son sitting there talking, and the guy said to him, your test was yesterday, man.
Oh, wow.
That's what he said to my son, right? Because your test was yesterday. And my son goes, what do you mean? They told me it was today. And whatever he will say. And so I'm watching from far. So I'm watching. So I went over, I just said straight away, what's going on here? I saw the guy look at me like thinking, obviously the earrings and stuff, like, I think he thought maybe I'm going to create trouble. He goes, what's going on here? He goes, Yanni said to me, disappointment, I was supposed to come yesterday and I didn't know, like he's like, I didn't know it was yesterday and I got it all wrong. Like I could just see everything in his face. And I turned to the guy, Harry, I said, yeah, we stuffed up. Just like that. And I saw Harry go, his demeanour change. I said, we stuffed up. We're really sorry. Completely our fault. Yanni, that's our fault, man. That's what I said, right? And then I went, but seeing we're here, do you think you can fit us in? And I saw him go, because he already gave Yanni the paperwork and said, rebook yourself in, right? So I saw the body language. So I said, Yanni doesn't know what I'm doing. And I said, so do you think you can fit us? If you can't fit us in, man, we'll rebook. We'll come back another time. All good, And he goes, just give me a second. So he's looking, and I said to Yanni, shut up. Like, say nothing, right? Comes back, he goes, go take a seat. That's all he said to us, still. And I saw Yanni go to his mate in the corner, and they started talking to his mate. I said, hey, on the couch, both of you. We all sat on the couch, all three of us, right? I said, no one talk, no one look at their phone. They're watching us. Like I'm just saying to him. Because what do you mean? I said, that if you two are talking, they might think you're arguing or you're not happy. Don't talk to each other. Don't talk to me. And even I said, no one's looking at their phones. So we sat there for about 5 minutes. No one's talking. And then the guy goes, Yanni, he goes, I can fit you in another hour. Come back in an hour. And he goes, okay. I said, well done. I said, you'll get your license now. When we left, I said to Yanni, when he was going to go over, I said, as soon as this guy books you in, you're going to say, I really appreciate your understanding my situation and being considerate. I'm very grateful. That's how we had to talk, right? Whatever it was a bit better than that. And then when we left, because he had to go back and he didn't need me anymore, I said, when you go back, as soon as he gets in your car, you're going to thank him again. And then you're going to tell him, my dad also wanted to say he appreciated your understanding and giving me another go. My dad. And when the guy, I said, what did he say? He goes, yeah, oh, your dad said that? So Yanni got his license. But I wanted to teach Yanni, we had to work the room, man. And the room had to be, we had to comply to them. Whether they got it wrong, it didn't matter. We had to take ownership, and then we went back in to get the deal. And we got the deal. So I think that in life, like that says, it's not handed to you. You've got to work the room. So I found with Yanni.
No, that's a good life lesson, definitely.
It was he even said it to me. He goes, I wouldn't have got it without you.
Yeah.
Because he was ready to blow up. And I understand I would have blown up too. And I could tell you about an uncle that blows up. Columbus, Ohio, 2012 Arnold Classics. Your words, what an adventure. And I think you placed 5th. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Look, I've seen you, man. I've seen you, like I said, from far. Yes, you look serious and you don't look happy. I got it. But you're laughing now. But when I look at your body and when I look at you, you have stature like that commands the room. I'll be honest with you, man. I look at you and I go, yeah, he commands the room. Like, I don't know what it is about you. I look at you and you command the room. It can be every jacked up guy, whatever they are, whoever they are, whatever age. But there's something about you that has this, to me, you're not old. I'm saying you have this Godfather look about you. Like, I don't know. You just have, when I look at you, I think you own the room.
Yep,
and I do have a lot of respect for you. Like, I don't come in the,
appreciate that, yeah.
and I do as well in business. And I think that's only fair to work with people, as I worked with Harry, in the room. So tell me about Columbus 2012, because you looked great, man. How was that?
It was an adventure. It was the first time, obviously, traveling overseas to compete. Back then, it wasn't as organised as what it is now, with getting a team together and so forth. So there was a lot of things I had to work out myself, with cancelled flights and everything, and finally getting to Columbus. But I ended up, after a few cancelled flights and a stint in where's Elvis from? Memphis.
Yeah.
There's tornadoes everywhere. I remember looking at the thing, seeing this a board of about 50 flights, and all of them were cancelled, including mine, and the only flight was available was to Memphis. So we caught a plane from where I think it was LA to Memphis. Had to stay there a couple of days until the tornadoes and all the cyclones cleared, and then go to Columbus from there.
Wow.
And ended up literally arriving the night before the comp, retaining fluid and a bit stressed, obviously, from all the travel. But yeah, that was all part of the adventure at the end of the day. And then I remember hopping on stage at the pre-judging.
And seen Chris, he looked amazing, but go ahead.
Yeah, I could have looked better. Definitely could have looked better. But given the circumstances, I think I did all right. And got pulled out in the first call out. And at that time, I don't think an Aussie bodybuilder had ever even placed at Columbus. Obviously, since then, a lot of our athletes have done really well overseas, and they've gone a lot further. But and then getting called out in the first call out, and then I don't remember speaking to John Davey, who was there actually at Columbus, and he's like, "You just made the finals at Columbus, Ohio," and I'm like, "It's pretty cool, eh?" He goes, "It's fucking massive, man. Like, it's like you're going to the finals tomorrow."
Yeah.
And I was so chilled that night and so excited. I ended up rocking up the next day looking so much better at the finals. But you don't get judged at the finals, so they already worked out who looks like who places where at the pre-judging. And I placed fifth out of obviously made the top five. I think it was about 18 competitors, placed fifth, and then. I remember on the photos of the day of the finals, I could have easily placed top two, if not first. But
then let me interrupt, because you did so well. Can you tell me that? What is prejudging, and then what is the stage then? What I'm trying to say to you is then if the prejudging is done without us watching it, because it's you guys see everyone prejudge, correct?
No, there's a prejudge.
Is it in front of the crowd?
Yeah, it's in front of the crowd. Yeah, prejudging is done.
All right, so prejudging.
But obviously the day of the finals is a lot bigger crowd, because
but why don't they work on that one? Why is
I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know. That's a different kettle of fish when you talk about promotions overseas and international comps. But I just remember being told on the day, look, just go out there, do your routine. They're going to take you through your compulsories. And I said, are they going to move us around? They said, no, the judging was done yesterday. Use the top five. We already know who the winner is, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right. I was just happy that I was just going to come home with a trophy. Yeah.
So what's it like now in Australia in relation to, is there prejudging with IFBB?
No, the way we do things now is basically you get judged.
Right to the last minute?
Right to the last minute.
Yeah, I like that.
And we'll even have a look at your routines if we feel as if it's close. So routines generally don't get judged, so there's no judging criteria on a routine. But if two competitors are really, really close and we can't decide, we're splitting. And this is the judges. When I say we, it's completely in the head judges' opinions. Promoters don't get involved in the judging at all at any show. But the head judge will basically have a look and talk to his judges on the table during a posing routine if someone's close, and sometimes I'll even call them back out and take them through a couple of compulsions, but they're judged right to the very end. Yeah.
I like that. I like that idea. I prefer that.
Yeah.
So, all right, since I'm going to come back to that soon, I want to go into 2015, an Arnold Classic in Australia, and then you and Scott Goebel started to do this burger challenge that you planned to eat burgers between Sydney and Melbourne and review burgers. I mean, how did that go?
We ate one burger.
I was going to say, but you're also prepping, so I don't understand what the burgers were.
We were going back and forth a lot during prep because we were obviously craving the same things, and we did a few shows together actually, me and Scott. We prepped for a few shows together, and he lives in Melbourne, I live in Sydney, but we used to communicate a lot and talk about our cravings. Have a look at this burger, have a look at that burger.
That's torture, brother.
Yeah, but it was good. It was fun having someone to bounce these ideas off too at the same time. Yeah. So. And then we just came up with this massive elaborate plan of having a burger eating challenge as soon as we were off stage at Arnold's. We're going to go to 8-bit burgers, which is the first and the last one we went to. And
you're going to do this big review thing.
Yeah,
you know?
we had massive. We did reviews. We got everyone to film the review outside and worked out where we're going to go next, and never went back since. Yeah, and we just realised geographically it's probably a little bit difficult with both of us living in different states, eating a different burger together every single week. It was a plan that was doomed for failure right from the start. But
and you guys are still trying to make something work.
I think we've both given up now. We've both come a long way since then.
So then I'm going to ask you, well, firstly, when did you ever first compete? When was your first comp? I'm sure everyone's asking that. I would like to know that.
I was 24, I think it was.
Yep.
So it was an A and B comp. It was a naturals comp.
Yep.
And I always planned, I said, look, Monday I want to compete with the IFBB, but I want to do this as a natty first, and I'll keep competing as a natty until I at least win an Australian title before I take that leap. And then first comp won an Australian title as a natty, and then I was like, sweet. And it was IFBB next. And then I did the country classic after that, won that. And then, and then just competed with the IFBB ever since. Yeah.
What's been your favourite comp? If you had to look back and say, this was a bit of an elation.
Country classic was fun.
Yeah.
I went in that with no expectations to win at all. I was just doing it just for something to do, and all my mates were competing, and then ended up on stage and winning that, that was exciting. Obviously, the Arnold Columbus, the Arnold that I won here, that was a lot of fun because I actually got to meet Arnold and get my backstage photo with him.
What was he like in person?
Awesome. Like I just remember saying something cringy like I love you or something. Like he said, congratulations, you looked awesome. I go, I love you. So I was really
like the guy that was crying on stage and he wanted to hug Arnold.
But there's a cool little you can actually find it on YouTube. There's a cool little thing where we were all the winners of each category. Aaron Politis was there. Atif Anwar, he was a super heavyweight that ended up winning the overalls. But all the winners of each category, I won the under 90s. Mm-hmm. All the winners came back to do the overalls, and we were getting judged in the overalls. And halfway through the judging, to the corner of my eye, I saw Arnold, or like the crowd gathering us around, and I saw Arnold on the side there, and I was like, I'm getting judged here, but Arnold's there. I'm getting judged. Fuck judging, and I just ran off stage, and all the judges were like, come back. And all the other competitors, it's on YouTube. All the other competitors saw why I ran off stage and just followed me so we could get a photo without Arnold. And then they ended up going back to get stage, and Tony was there, and I was mates with Tony at the time. I go, you got to get a photo of Arnold. I go, stay there. And I was on stage posing like that, and Arnold's there, and Tony got a mad picture of us both together, and I literally ran back on stage and skipped like a schoolgirl, and I was so excited. I didn't give a fuck about the overalls. Like, Atif Anwar was always going to win it, and I honestly didn't care. I was just like, I got my photo with Arnold. That's better than any trophy then. Yeah.
Bloody oath.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just sitting back listening to you, man. I think, can I just give you some praise?
Yeah.
As you're the right guy. You're the right guy for the sport. You're the right guy for bodybuilding. You're the right guy for the gymnasiums, and you're the right guy for the sport. I just want to give you that credit.
Thanks, mate.
No, I really do believe it. No, because I think it takes a certain personality and a certain person, and I think you fit not only the stature, you suit the commitment and the jovial side of yourself. I think you can't be too serious for too long, but at the same time, you need to know when you need to you just need to know your moments, and I think you've got that. And I think that's, to me, because like I said, I'm watching from far, man, and we all judge people from far. You don't ever think that we don't as judges, but I really, like I said to you, I think it's great. I think, like I said, you're running a rock and roll league that is important to you. And like I said, I think you're the right guy. So I just wanted to.
I appreciate that.
I don't know if that's, I don't want to make you cry. We're trying to make you cry.
Don't worry, I don't get emotional easy.
And I wanted to know when you started competing. Tell me, since we're still going with that, comparing now to then, what do you see is? Do you see good? No, I'm not here to say what's better or worse. What I'm saying is, what do you think's lacking, or what do you think? Wow, God, it's changed to my day. Like this is really impressing me.
I think the caliber of athletes has changed.
Yeah. Do you think that after COVID, like it's just gone ape for some reason? Like
Even better?
Yeah. Like something's changed. I don't know what's happened. The guys are coming in more conditioned, something better. I don't know. There seems to be.
I just think that's just coincidence. I think it's just getting better every year.
Yeah,
I think it's honestly getting better every year. Education is a big thing now. Like educating yourself on exactly what you need to do is just resources are just so much easily more attainable now than they were back in the day. So we couldn't go online and get diets or learn new things, but there's a lot more education out now, and with social media too. There's a lot of people educating other people, whether or not it's the right information or not. But there's a lot of education right there in people's pockets that's accessed at any time of the day. So I think that's been the biggest change. To give our federation a bit of credit, I think when we took over, we changed a lot of things in the sport too, because we basically made it about the athletes. So we made sure that we booked the best auditoriums that we could in the country.
I think it helps.
And when I talk about that, like we're talking about comparing a little rim and an RSL that might cost $900 to hire for the day to
that's where I used to go
to 15
to
grand,
watch
15 grand for the day. Like,
that's what I saw. That's what I saw Dorian Yates in.
Well, that's it.
I think I saw him in Penshurst.
That's it. And when Tony Doherty started, we go. I want to. The first thing he said is, I want to get us out of RSLs and I want to get us into auditorium. So we went around every state in the country trying to book the best auditoriums that we could, and that's what we do. And when people say, "Oh, this venue," like literally, we got the best that we can here in the country. So
it does look that way anyway. When I watch it, like I said, it is quite. Like I said, when I say I'm new, I'm new to seeing behind the scenes. But like I said, I'm seeing professionalism.
Well, Tony says that we're in the entertainment business, and that's the thing. We're there. The athletes are there to entertain the audience. We're there to make sure that we give them that platform to be able to do that. So we do that to the best way we can. We back in the day, I remember competing at my last national show, and I think I hopped on stage at 10:30, 11 o'clock p.m. because the show ran that late. And my parents would come to watch, so they're like, fuck, we're going home. Like, the crowd was getting restless, athletes were getting restless to the point where they couldn't be bothered. We made sure that we run our shows on time. If we said we're starting at a time and we're going to finish at a time,
like that.
You can book dinner and you can leave and you can go to that dinner. We're going to finish at this time. So
I've seen it.
We make sure that we're running things like clockwork to give our athletes the best experience that we possibly can. And it sounds cliche, but it's actually not bullshit. We do what we do to make sure that our athletes have the best time that they can.
Well, just remember what you said, the word entertaining. So your spectators, your crowd, you're respecting them that they may have a dinner. So you're saying, we said we're starting at this time, we're finishing at this, we're working towards
Even
that.
if they didn't have a dinner.
No one wants to sit there. It's for the crowd too. It's not just the athlete. What you're saying is you bought a ticket to be entertained.
No one wants to sit there for 15 hours of the day. You know what I mean? Like, and most people used to just rock up to a show to watch whoever they wanted to see on stage. So whether it was a relative or a friend, they just used to rock up to the day, watch that category and leave. Where now we're finding that people rock up to the show, see who they want to watch, and they want to stay the whole day to see what happens for the rest of the day. And what's next? What's the next category? Oh, there's bikini coming up, or there's men's physique coming up. I've heard about men's physique. It's awesome. So people are buying tickets to stay there the entire day, where the auditorium's packed. Every seat's taken literally the entire day, which is good to see, because there's a lot of people that rock up to the shows as a fan who don't necessarily even have anyone competing on a day, but they just want to be there to watch the show.
I tell you, it works well, because I tell you something, when I went to the Sydney show and watched, and then I went to Brisbane, I really felt like I was going to a rock concert. I felt like, I just felt like I bought tickets to go see the band again, but at a different venue.
Yeah.
So I think if you're doing that, you actually might get people wanting to fly around Australia and watch your shows.
That's right.
So that's
Tony does a great job at emceeing the events too. Where he gets the crowd involved He does his little walkthrough now at the beginning of the show, talking to the crowd,
Yeah, he's good.
putting a few people on the spot,
Entertainer.
which again adds that entertainment aspect to the whole show.
We do it as well. Like, I mean, announcing you last night, which I nearly forgot because we don't do podcasts on a Friday, really. We don't. And I went, oh my God. I had to, I think I was smashing a yogurt at the time. I put the cap on. It was cold night. I took the flannel off. I'm like, so it's entertainment, you know, and that's what we do. And even though it was a little bit later than, because I forgot about it. I went, no, but I have to do any questions out there because we've introduced that. So it's all entertainment. It's not, if it was me, I wouldn't, who gives a shit? But I give a shit because I'm trying to entertain this platform.
That's right, yeah.
And it's only going to happen through pre-entertainment. I'm going to tell you what I model myself over. I'll tell you straight out. I model myself over Dana White and the UFC. The reason being is Dana White, you don't know any of these fighters, but he makes it sound like rock stars. So I made you sound like a rock star. So your podcast, I'm going to announce you because they're going to say, who is this Mark from around the world? But I'm going to give them from this podcast a brief. So I'm selling you before the podcast. Me and Chris do a trailer, like a movie trailer. So we do the movie trailer because you see the movie trailer like you're seeing like at the moment with Wolverine and what's his name?
Deadpool.
Yeah, so you watch the trailer to go watch the movie. So we do an announcement, then I do a trailer to come and watch the podcast. Once you watch the podcast, the tickets are sold. So Dana White does everything to get you to the arena or get you to pay reviews. So that's my tip is you do everything. Pre is the biggest show, the biggest entertainment. The day the show's on, it's over. You can't do nothing about it. And post is when you do post and you talk about gate sale. Or like I said, we talk about, so in other words, I even know what post is. Post is Sundays. Sundays, us Chris, no, Saturdays is I say, are you bored this weekend? Watch our podcast. So I'm re-engaging. So we're just working constantly to get people to sit down and watch the podcast. But to think, so what I'm getting is it is the entertainment program. So like I said to you, everything is so pre. It's probably the hardest work and the most damning work, and you don't know if it's going to work for you is the pre. On the day, you're done. You can't do anymore. And I've learned that from Dana White. He's the best at it, man.
Yeah, best promoter in the world. Look at what he's done with the UFC.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I've learned, well, I don't know who that fighter is, but God, he's made him sound like I've got to watch this guy. So that's what we try to do. So I wanted to ask you if there was if you wanted to give some advice to somebody and you said, like, if you're going to compete, you can't lax on this thing. What would it be? What I'm asking is, because I'm realizing for me, I'll tell you what's entertaining me with you guys now. It's actually the routines. That's entertainment. I know double flex, like most muscular, all that is wow. But when they do a routine and the music's playing, that's theatre now to me. And I think that's what sells seats. But I'm asking you, that's why if I was to critique anything, I'd make it so mandatory that you guys have got to entertain our people. Even though you're a bodybuilder and I'm going to tick you off.
I said that in our last posing clinic, which was only last weekend. I said to everyone,
because that's entertainment.
Yeah, and that's probably the advice that I'd give is like, a lot of people have aspirations of becoming a pro athlete or becoming a pro bodybuilder. Act like a pro right from the start.
100%.
So if you're acting like a pro right from the start, you're not going to work out what your posing routine is 10 seconds before you go on stage. Back in the day when I used to compete, I was worse at that. I used to literally just figure it out and just go out there, do a few poses.
Of course.
And that was because how poorly run the shows were. Like I'd literally have my music prepared, practice my routine, and hand my music to the judge, and for some reason I couldn't get it to work. And it was back where I was like, well, fuck it, put Spice Girls on. I'll just do something. Like, whatever. But now we have such a system in place where it's foolproof, and as long as you're a complete dummy, you can't get it wrong. Yeah. There's no reason why you can't practice your posing routine, choreograph it, get your music edited, and get everything done perfectly to make yourself look like an utmost professional on stage. And that's the advice I'd give. If you have aspirations of becoming a pro athlete, act like one right from the start.
I like that.
Act one right from the start. Do everything as you would do. And Tony says this at seminars too. Like pro athletes, he can call up at any time of the year and say, look, we want you for a guest pose, and within a couple of weeks they're ready. That's because they keep themselves in the right type of shape in an off season all year round, to leave themselves open for those types of opportunities, where a lot of amateurs now will blow out, especially girls, and I've seen males do it too.
Yeah, of course.
Blow out to epic proportions where it's going to take them so long to get them back into stage condition, where they got to think that's not what pros do. So you can get bigger, stay lean, and stay in good condition and stay healthy. Just because you're in your off season doesn't mean you need to blow out and turn into a pig.
Well, because we're talking business and we're talking about entertainment, and it is, you're right, it's all entertainment. You hold your phone, entertainment, because it's a screen, we're on screen. So I do believe, and like I said, I'm not here to piss in your pocket, nobody's pocket. What I'm getting at is I'm watching federations and I look at systems and procedures, and I'm going to ask you about your systems in a second. If you are an entertainer, you're saying Doherty's the entertainer, you're the entertainer as the MC, whatever you guys are doing, right? Then I think your athletes need to know the reason people bought tickets to this auditorium is to be entertained. So if you want this sport to grow, come with a routine that's going to be theatrical for them to watch you, but also watch us, because we're a team. It's like, it's not just Tony, it's all of us. So I think if everyone rocks up with the mindset that stage is theatre, meaning a bodybuilding theatre, it's like watching Les Mis. There's many actors doing their stuff on stage to make this musical look amazing. So I think if I was to give one piece of advice, I'll be saying, turn up your best shape, but rock up, because referees make decisions on crowds screaming. So imagine the judge about to give you a small score and the crowd goes, cheers you out, and you go, oh, maybe I've got to mark this guy more. It's going to work in their favour. So I think going forward, if the sport makes sure, I just love it. I think Peter Hardwick has made me so excited when I watch him that I go, it reminds me of Frank Zane, and it reminds me of Arnold's, and it reminds me of those great days. So when the athletes come out there now, and I'm seeing it more and more, I'm just telling you, I think they need to pay a lot of attention to choreography.
Yeah, 100%. And when you think about Peter Hardwick, people used to rock up to shows. He back in the day, this is even when he was an amateur, he did end up getting his pro card. It took him a while to get it, but he got it. But as an amateur, people used to make sure that they were there in time to make sure they don't miss Peter Hardwick's routine. Same as Scott Gable, same thing. And that's why, like, the only decent routine I ever did was when I literally booked myself in to see Charlie Duca once or twice a week for an hour to choreograph our routine. He picked the music and we just practice and practice and practice and practice. And now looking back on videos, if I'm going to show anyone a routine, it's that routine. That's it. There's nothing else I'd really ever be keen on showing. And at the end of the day, when you say that's what you take pleasure in watching, that routine.
I do. I love watching a muscular guy, man. Don't get me wrong, but I love the
But at the end of the day,
routine.
that's the videos and they're the photos that they're going to have to show their kids one day, and it's going to be from their routines.
It's like I said to you. And you know what else? This is what came to my head. I'm actually seeing, which I'm finding good. I don't give really a shit about anything. What I'm saying is, isn't it amazing some of the natural athletes coming through?
Yeah.
Like I know Emad and a few others, but
I don't know many of them by name basis, but
what I'm seeing on stage, freaky stuff, and even some of the girls, like I'm saying, there's some freaky stuff happening at the moment, and I think that to me is even more exciting.
Yeah.
I actually don't care to guess who's on it or not. What I care about is you're turning up your best and you did the work. All right, you tweaked, but still. But when I'm hearing in the lineup and winners and this and that, I'm going like, why? Because you went on there wanting to compete next to everybody. You didn't care. You didn't judge everybody on he's enhanced, he's not. You just said, no, I'm going to go on and do my best. And I think that's the best part of the sport.
Peter Hardwick is a renowned
athlete. He's a renowned athlete.
And he just made sure that his presentation was better than anyone else's on stage.
Yeah, and he got a pro card, like you said. Like you said. Tell me, how complicated is it to put this thing together? Because it looks complicated from far.
It is now. We've got our processes
numbers and music and lineups and this and girls.
Half of it, but we got our processes and systems now. We've got an awesome team with the Pro League. Like we've got actual staff now working in Tony's offices in Melbourne, who work with sponsorships, who work with all our media, our programs and our systems to get all the registrations and everything organised for the day. So we've got a really good system in place, and we obviously work alongside the IFBB Pro League and on an international level. So we're basically using the same types of systems that they're using there. But we learn a lot from them. They learn a lot from us, and no, I think it just comes down to a good team. Tony did a real right thing, and he always says that. He always reminds me before every show. He goes, "I definitely picked the right promoter for this state. I definitely and he strategically picked a promoter in each state that he can work alongside, and I think that's made his life easier. But it's kind of created a team where we kind of help each other out as much as we can at the same time. So, it's an awesome little family to be a part of. Yeah,
And I think your next year's season B is going to be big.
Natty?
Yeah. I really look forward to seeing that.
Yeah. So
I think you've done. I think it's the smartest move because I'm interested to see everything. I want to see your A, B, and C. Like I really want to know.
The whole thing behind that was, and it came from, the majority of it came from our female athletes. So a lot of our female athletes thought that competing with the IFBB, they need to be on some type of enhancement.
Poor
and
things.
we're like,
I feel sorry for them.
yeah, we'll feel sorry for them because it's misinformation. No one takes anything. Like if
Someone do, but that's not what it is.
A couple of them might, but it's actually probably to their detriment at the end of the day, because to achieve an Olympia type female bikini physique,
that's
you
genetics.
definitely don't. It's definitely not a necessity at all.
No, and it's genetics.
And it's genetics. But I've coached a few pro athletes, and one that comes to mind, Nessa Herrera, she never touched anything in life. She actually questioned. She goes, "Should I?" I'm like, "Fuck no, I don't." Like, she's got a beautiful daughter now that I would never want to mess with whatever your future ambitions are, especially when it comes to having a family.
Yeah, of course.
But the idea behind the whole naturals thing is like so many girls think that that's what they need to do, and that's what kind of steers them away from competing with the IFBB Pro League. Let us show you that you don't need to do that. And now the naturals show season B next year,
and it's going around. It's going around America. They're introducing that.
Well,
as
they've
well.
done it. They've done it. They've been doing it for a while over there.
Oh, have they?
Yeah. And I think I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this, but I think they've been asking Tony for a while whether or not he's interested in introducing it. And we spoke about doing a season B, which we did this year.
Yeah.
And we kind of toyed around the idea of saying, so why don't we do naturals for season B next year? I'm like, that's a good idea because it gives that point of difference.
I think it's going to be big. I think it's going to be big.
Yeah.
And I think it's also a good way for someone that is intimidated by the IFBB and doesn't want to go on a cycle yet, let's just say, that they can try that show, get to see your professionalism, the way you do things, and then if they want to up the ante and want to do B's, A's and C's
that's
later.
That's a personal choice at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a personal choice at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
It's in no way designed to be a segue.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm just saying, Not that you were making
I wasn't trying to say that. No.
But it's again, that's personal choice. And maybe but there are a lot of people out there that like have that personal choice that they want to stay natty their entire lives. But that's kind of like, but they've always wanted to compete in the IFBB Pro League. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of like...
We've had guys on here, they've done IFBB, men's physique, classic. I don't know about, not yet open, I don't know yet, but they're natural. And firstly, I was shocked. Two, thought, wow, I was more happy, not because they were natural, that they went to the IFBB to compete against everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. So even if you did B next year, doesn't mean you can't do C. You have to jump on the gear.
I think so many people...
I think you just need to dip your foot in. I think that's I think what it promotes is do B, and if you like it, come natural in C.
At the end of the day, how many people competing in natural shows can honestly say that they're natural anyway?
100%.
So,
I think I think when I heard that, I went...
Well, the thing that we're doing a little bit differently too is with the drug testing protocols and everything, and we're making sure that it is going to be an even playing field, and we're going to try and this is me putting shit on any other federation because it's not my style to do that, but we want to make sure that we're doing things that other federations aren't. Good. So if we look at mistakes that other people make, and we try and find out from athletes what they're not happy with certain federations, and we'll see if we can change things and do things better. And let's fingers crossed that we can do that.
I love it, man. I love it. Do you get itchy feet to compete again when you see
Always. After every comp.
Are you like Joey Johns and everyone else when they say go to State of Origin, they want to go out?
Badly. Yeah. And every year I think about it too. Every year I think about it, and I've asked Tony a few times if I was going to compete again, how would I be able to do it? And the only way to do it is competing overseas, because obviously there's a bit of a conflict of interest competing here.
Okay, yes.
But the only real
Do you think you will?
Oh, look, the only real reason why I'd want to do it is just to one day just do it to show my kids, and that's it.
Okay.
And that's it. And they'd need to be old enough, which is probably if I wanted to do next year, maybe. But I'd love to do. I'd love to do the Amateur Olympia in America one. I was actually thinking about doing it this year because with the new gym opening, it's probably going to be a little bit hard for me to find the time ever again. But look, I still eat and train every day with the mindset that maybe one day I'll do it again.
Good on you.
And then if I do it, then I will. But if I don't, at least I've lived a healthy lifestyle. Yeah.
I wanted to ask that question because I felt like you're amongst it. Your dad was a bodybuilder.
No.
What was that photo that I saw?
That's just him.
I mean, there wasn't much there, but
No, yeah, but like it's
the
like
legs
the
legs look Lebanese.
That's every wog dad that used to say, I used to do this back in the day. and they've got one photo.
Well, you put it up there.
But he had a good lat spread. In that photo, his little lat spread.
Hey,
yeah.
If he, I'd zoom that photo in, get rid of the below the waistline.
If you compare it to a whole Frank Zane physique, he wasn't. He was. It's actually not too bad.
Nah, it's great.
But he was never a competitive bodybuilder. It's just a couple of days in the gym, and they used to say call themselves bodybuilders, but I think he can definitely see the difference now and what he used to come to even our shows here, the ones that I've been promoting. Like he used to love being amongst it with the crowd, stay sitting with my sister at the door selling tickets, and that he knows exactly the difference now between what bodybuilding is now and compared to what his was back in the day.
Nah, look, there you go. Your sister's at the door, your dad's there. That's family.
Yeah.
You're a family guy. And I'm going to bring up something family. You saw Big Ramy in real life win Olympia. Is that right? You're at the Olympia. Is that you with the camera when I saw the photos? Were you at Olympia?
I've been to a few Olympias, but I can't even remember who won.
No, in 2020 you were at the Olympia and you see Big Ramy. I think he won Olympia. So you've seen Big Ramy in real life?
I've seen Big Ramy in real life plenty of times.
What's he like?
Yeah.
Because he's a big boy.
Nice guy, yeah. I remember seeing Big Ramy. It was actually with Scott.
Okay.
Scott, I'm pretty sure he tried to suck his dick. We were in the car park. And I think he was getting coached by Dennis James at the time. And we rocked up late to the Olympia, me and Scott. So we were in Vegas, rushing to the door. And then Dennis James and Big Ramy rocked up, and Big Ramy obviously didn't want to talk much, and he was carrying his bags, pushing his luggage, and Scott offered to carry his bags. And I'm like, fucking suck off his ass. He doesn't want you to carry his bag. Scott won't remember that. He'll probably deny it. But I guarantee you won't remember it. But yeah, no, I remember seeing it. It was just like a fucking John Orm's bear. Yeah, he's a big boy. Yeah. Roddy Coleman to this day is still the biggest bodybuilder I've seen in person, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me something. Who do you think this year, I guess what I'm seeing, Samson, Derek, Nick, Hardy, and this Brandon guy too, or what?
I reckon Andrew Jack. Andrew Jack, huh? Is it Andrew Jack?
Yeah. No. I think I looked it up, and
he just won a pro show recently. But
isn't Andrew Jack? I thought it was Brandon. Oh, Andrew Jack. That's who it is. Yeah, Andrew Jack.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I reckon if they're going to look for structure and symmetry, him. But I did see photos of Hardy, and Hardy looks freaky, so he's going to be very hard to beat because he's a lot shorter too. So,
what is it about shorter? Is that something?
You could just compress the muscle a lot more to make yourself look a lot bigger. So,
well, I was surprised when I saw Peter Hardwick.
When
I saw Peter Hardwick, he looked in his videos because he's got long legs.
Yeah.
But he's short.
He's a midget, yeah. Well, that's always going to be at a disadvantage when you're taller, but at the same time an advantage on stage because you can oversize someone. So if you've got the size, Mike Pearson's competing at season C, and he's a taller guy.
Mike Pearson, he looks great.
When I say taller, he's not too much taller than he's probably just on 6 foot, just a little bit taller than that. But at 130, 40 kilos, he's going to look massive on stage. So it's going to make him look shorter on stage, where he's actually,
I had Paul Xidis on here, who is his physio. And, and they do Barbell Bros,
yes.
Whatever it's called. And I had him this Tuesday. Paul sat with us. But what do you reckon about the mute, Nick?
Walker?
Yeah.
I personally not a fan of his physique. I reckon he's just a little bit out of symmetry.
Yeah.
He's just way too big. But if that's the type of thing you're looking for, a freak show, mass monster, he wins it all day.
Yeah, he wins it all day.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
look. Even Samson looks good, man. I think he looks.
Samson looks good too. Yeah,
Samson.
I reckon it'll be a bit of a shake-up this year. There's a lot of new names coming through, and a lot of names that
I got it.
probably finished bottom 10, 9th, 8th last year that are working their way up to the top.
Who's your favourite bodybuilder ever?
Phil Heath, Sean Roden. I think back in the day when those two had their little and I was good. I was good mates with Sean Roden. Every time he came to Australia, we used to catch up a bit and just have some funny interviews and that together. But if I'm going to pick a favourite, Phil Heath. Yeah, if I could see someone at their best again compete, I'd love to see Phil Heath.
Is he coming back? Is he?
I don't know. There's rumours of him coming back, but
I'm confused.
I don't know if it's just a little bit of a hype up. Just
He
to
could though. He
promote
looks
or
like
something
he's.
I don't know. As long as he's got his midsection sorted out with the surgery that he had, then yeah, there's no reason why he can't. But it's a big thing coming back and competing against the younger guys, because each year that you don't compete, I guess, puts you a little bit of a step away each time. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. They'll get the ratings. So what about classic? What about classic winners at the moment? Bumstead, Ramon. I think, to me personally, and Urs and Brion and also Wesley now. I've seen Wesley, and I know he won the Arnolds, and we can debate it if you like. I don't know, but Urs to me looks symmetrically something good about him. I don't know what it is about Urs.
They're both good. Yeah, Brion now falls back into the weight cut because they've increased the weight a little bit the height requirements. So I think he stepped out of classic physique and now he's gone back in. But yeah, it's they both have like a Bumstead for me. He's starting to look very much like a bodybuilder, but he still hasn't crossed that line. So he's probably as big as he can possibly get while still maintaining that classic physique.
He's a freak though, isn't he?
He's a freak. And it'll be interesting now that Brown's back. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how.
What about Ramon? Do you think he can do it? Or is there something missing?
I don't know what's missing though. It's hard to say. It's hard to tell. Like you see them on stage, and he looks good enough when he's there on his own, posing on his own.
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
when they're together,
and then we're together, it's like, what's he missing? What's different? I think he doesn't have as much of a pleasing physique as what everyone has, where the smaller waist. But he's a genetic freak again. It could be one of those years where he just comes in and he's like, yeah, now wow, he's a standout in that lineup.
I just can't believe just Bumstead in the game. Like,
how many years in a row he's won it now?
Yeah, but also the most popular bodybuilder now. Like, but on social media, like not just bodybuilding. Like he's
got that look, and I think
there's something about him. And it's believable. Everything is, even his body's achievable.
It's very raw, and that's the whole point about classic physique. It's just to
believe it's achievable. That's what
It's an achievable look, and like there's a lot of times where people will like with bodybuilding, I don't want to look like that, but I want to look like that, and that's the category, and that's why.
But also the way he speaks. That's why he's done it all. He's
very good. He's very good at promoting himself as a brand. Because he's very raw and very real.
And it hardly is talk about bodybuilding. With him, it's about learning about him and his actually vulnerabilities.
But even like, I love watching his posts about simple things like what he needs to do to work on flexibility and seeing the different flexibility exercises he does and how he incorporates that in his posing. And I need to hit this pose and make this look like this, but I need to move my arm back a little bit more. What exercises can I do to hit more effective double bicep with a twist or whatever?
I know.
And there's a science behind everything. And even it comes down to the way he poses. He just oozes professionalism with everything that he does.
But the thing is, I'll tell you what grabs me with him when he trains, like I said, everything really, to be honest, the way he talks, his professionalism. I like the way he talks. I like it when I see him. I mean, it's obviously for the media. It doesn't really matter. But he seems like he likes his muscle cars. He seems to be,
but it's a hobby still for him.
That's what I'm saying. He's showing everything his hobbies. He trains in the garage and he's got his Camaro or whatever it is.
He's not obsessed with bodybuilding.
That's what I mean.
His be all and end all. You see him with his kids. I don't know how many kids he's got, but I see him with his son. Yeah, son or daughter. It's just a boy. He's got. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know what he had, but
but he's just like I said. He's just very real. He's a family man. He's posts about his hair transplant, like he does all types of different things to say, like it's just nothing fake about him. And it just seems like if you met him, what you see on social media is exactly what you're going to meet in person.
And that's why when I look at him, I go, I could see, like I like my cars, and he's training barefoot and he's not dressed up he's just in his typical shorts that makes his quads look good, because we all find shorts that
I
make
think
our quads look.
girls seem to like him too, so I think that's a little bit of a thing where he kind of like he's got a bit both a male and female audience.
Well, apparently they said that he's got probably the most man crushes out there at the moment. So.
Yeah, there you go. How many guys try to emulate that little moustache thing? You're doing it too.
Oh, he's imitating me. Buddy. So, and I'm going to be finishing up shortly because we're getting to the end now. How much has... I want to ask you, when did the women influence this sport so much? Because it just happened, when I say overnight, it was like the tsunami pulled back and then the wave came in. Because what I'm getting is, I think it was mid 2015s or 14s or 16s or 12s, I don't know. But what was it that all of a sudden the girls have arrived and they're taking over?
I was probably too entrenched with my bodybuilding career at the time when it happened to actually pay close attention to it. But right. I think it was straight up. It's the introduction of bikini.
Yeah.
There's a more attainable physique. Girls didn't want to necessarily look like bodybuilders. They didn't, even figure athletes, like figure athletes, to get to a physique to be a competitive figure athlete took a lot of hard work and dedication. And I'm not saying bikini doesn't, but it was a lot harder to attain than what a bikini physique is. And bikini physiques are a lot more pleasing to look at in a general population type role. Social media played a big aspect in that, I think, too, with so many girls on social media. If they want to look a certain way, bikini physique is that perfect look. And I think it's just the introduction of it as a category. And bikini is the biggest category in every single bodybuilding company. Every single bodybuilding
I come to the show, or I've seen or watched, and I go, all right, here's one row of bikini girls. Here's the next row. Like, what I mean is, let's say out of 100%, 60% is bikini girls.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I'm just saying it doesn't stop. But I think as well, what I think is it's the accessible modern day beauty pageant for girls that obviously may have not aesthetically faces or whatever, a beauty pageant, tallness, all the things that Miss Australia, Miss France, Miss Leichhardt, now bodybuilding shows allowing girls to have a dream that they wanted to be in a pageant, and I think
and having to be on stage and showcase. Definitely, and it's I love the fact that it's grown, and I think now we're getting to a point where you can really appreciate a hardworking bikini athlete because we had a few rock up to the posing clinic on the weekend. And I'm like, have a look at her. Like, she looks awesome. Like, she's going to look awesome on stage. Like, and it's not just girls that look good at the beach on the weekend thinking they can hop on stage now. It's
Are you guys policing that a little bit? Like, also,
it's not even us to police because at the end of the day, we're an amateur show. So an amateur show is open to anyone.
So you come on. Unfortunately, you're going to have to take on the scrutiny. So if the judges are going to scrutinize you, right. If you can walk away not crying, that's your thing.
Exactly right. Like, but at the end of the day, they're amateurs, so anyone can have a crack. Okay. And if you rock up on stage and you're doing it just for the experience alone, and it might be just something to tick off the bucket list. You've lost a lot of weight and you want to hop on stage. You were saying before you wanted to do one because you were turning 50. Like a lot of people have reasons for competing, and that's the beauty of the sport.
Scares me though. That stage scares me.
But that's the thing. Like I don't think I ever did it. My first comp wasn't to have a career with it. Like, I remember doing it for the first time I remember my coach at the time, Mike, he said, like, I think you should give it a crack. It's good. I'm doing it. Your training partner's doing it. Yeah, fuck it. I'll give it a crack. And did it and fell in love with it. But even my dad at the time was like, you got to keep on doing this. You actually did all right on stage. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm not going to keep on going. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I don't think there's any real reason or one reason why people should compete. Whatever your reason is, give it a good crack. The only reason that burns me is the ones where, like, I'm just going to have a crack at comp so I can call myself a contest prep coach straight after. That's the one that I'm like, don't do it for that reason, please.
It's killing me. It's killing me.
I think I can honestly see it's starting to kind of phase away now. Anyway, people are starting to cotton on now. Yeah,
I hope so, because I do believe let the right guys get you to the stage.
That's right. Let the experienced people be the coaches, and if you're an inexperienced competitor, keep doing shows, keep competing until you become an experienced competitor. And then hopefully one day you do have the experience and the education and enough to be able to teach others and take them under your wing. Yeah.
I heard the Barbell Bros talk about this, and I thought I'd Mike Pearson, and Paul. What do you think about the gluttony after the show, the way they eat, and everyone's filming this food going down these, like people are, like for me when I watch it, it doesn't register because I think you've done all this wonderful work, man, and it's you got this beautiful body, and you're going to destroy it in 2 hours.
YOLO. I put on 20 kilos in 2 days after a comp. 20 kilos on the dot.
Oh my god!
2 days.
Actually,
my ankles were the same circumference as my quads.
Actually,
that's how much water retention.
Actually, is it Mike Pearson? Sorry, he said the same thing.
Yep.
He put on so much weight in 48 hours.
I think the problem is,
problem?
Look, it is unhealthy to do so. So I wouldn't. But at the end of the day, I always tell people just enjoy yourself, have fun, but don't. It's that post-comp depression where people get so depressed with, oh my God, I've worked 16 weeks or 20 weeks to get to this physique. How can it go away so quick? You knew it was going to go away. You look at all the shit you just ate. So if you 100%, if you do it and don't get a negative mental, look, that's the best way to do it. A reverse diet is the best way to do it. I think even straight after comp, I remember my ankles were so swollen, and I was having a laugh at all the edema pressing into my ankles, and then Luke Wood, who's actually passed away now, I remember him saying, "Go get your kidneys checked, bro, because I don't think they're working the way they're supposed to." He goes, "You need to chill out a bit." And I think my kidneys were working at a really low percentage at the time because of how much I was engorging straight after the comp. And I'm talking fucking anything.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
anything. Whole cheesecakes. Like I was just a pig.
But I just think, I get it, but I just think if you've gone, like I said, because we're talking, when I look at it, like I said, I just love health, man. You just said it. You eat like you're ready to compete. Look, I eat like I'm ready to compete. I'm not even thinking of competing. I'm waiting. You know what? I'll tell you what I'm waiting for. December the 1st. I'm gauging into December the 1st. I was 25 kilos. I put on 25 kilos at 51 to 53 and a half. And it was due to stupidly with some medication. Hear me out. So I'm not used to that. So I said, you know what? And I wasn't losing weight, man. I wasn't losing weight. So I said, you know what? I wasn't losing weight. And I realized, I'm going back to what I know best. 5 meals a day, cardio walking, just walking. I started losing it. I was still at the gym, but instead of eating 3 meals, big meals, not measuring them, I went 5 meals. And I was losing it. I lost 25. Now I'm down to 85 kilos from 105. And now, though I'm at 100, but I'm not good at 85. I've been better at 85 because I've had to lose all this weight. But now I go, right, I got 16 weeks before the December the 1st. I'm going for that date. That's my date. Because why? Because I want to, and I'll probably
go get looking for summer.
Yeah. For laser. I'll get laser done. I'll get everything done. I'll clean myself up. But that's what I'm saying is, but once he hit December the 1st, I've got to hold on to it for 12 weeks. And that's what I'm saying is when they hit the stage, they should realize that's not the finish line.
Yeah, look, that comes with experience. Yeah. Like every time, like I literally, and that's not even me exaggerating numbers, 20 kilos in 2 days. And then the next comp was maybe 15 kilos in 2 days. And then it was 10 kilos in 2 weeks. So I slowly started to learn the game a little bit. And even when I used to coach athletes, I'm like, I'm going to give you a reverse diet. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. But I know for a fucking fact you're not going to do any of it. So I say, come back to me. I go, here it is. Here's all the information. But come back to me when you're starting to feel too uncomfortable and you feel like you need to. But the biggest thing with me after comp was getting out of comp brain because and that's when I used to coach athletes. I used to say, don't ask me about comp. Don't talk to me about comp after your comp because you need to switch off too because you've been so obsessed with this and your family have seen you so obsessed with this. You need to get back to normality as quickly as possible. And then that post-comp depression doesn't fill in. You need to realize that there's other things in life that bring you joy. And a lot of people do a competition to give them purpose, which is great, but you need to now respect and realize and appreciate other things that are there to give you purpose at the same time. So I used to just switch off straight after comp, and I just like that. For me personally, don't talk to me about comp. I just want to enjoy time with my family now. I just want to enjoy time with my friends. I've sacrificed so much over the last 16 or 20 weeks. I want to do all the things that I said I missed out on. and not like a lot of people do that. They say, I want to do this, and this. They can't wait till comp's over. But then when real life comes and comp's over, they don't do those things. And I'm like, look at all the things that you're missing out on in life.
I just think if my advice would be to anybody, if you are turning up to a comp, like to compete at a show, and that's the dates, I would look at what you're going to do after the show with that great physique. And if it means going to Fiji because you want to swim in a great physique, go somewhere to enjoy yourself with that physique. I think don't just go home. Well, what I'm saying is December the 1st, I'm saying is summer. Well, that means I can go to the Gold Coast. I can go to Bondi Beach. You know what? I might go to the northern beaches. Like I can go enjoy my body at different beaches. That's what I'm saying is I think plan yourself a little bit where if you're going to look that good and you've done all the sacrifice, you know, and you want to reward yourself, mate, why don't you go to the Gold Coast at that period because the weather's beautiful and go swimming?
Yeah, and a lot of people do that now. Yeah. A lot of people do that, and it just comes down to the person. I think obsessing over the diet and what they're not allowed to eat during prep. Yeah. Don't worry about what you're not allowed to eat. Like just be happy with what you can eat, and then slowly reintroduce the things that you would eat normally.
And be happy that you got that body, and actually be happy, I think, by not only, what I mean is be happy when you come off the stage, whatever you got, be happy that you can hold some form, even if it's a bit fluffy, but it's going to look beautiful in jeans, beautiful in a dress.
But the biggest motivator should be, if you plan on doing this again, don't make your life hard.
Yeah.
Having to go through everything that you just had to go through.
Yeah.
Like if you had to lose 25 kilos to get in stage condition, imagine how much easier prep is going to be if you only have to lose 10.
100%.
And 10's a big number too. So, that's where it came down for me. It was just, it was how am I going to make the next prep easier? It's just don't blow out in the off season. But that just came with experience. And I don't expect anyone that doesn't comp for the first time to have the experience to just
don't blow out.
Not blow out. Like at the end of the day, it's like.
But I can see people are holding form. But you're right. I think some of the girls are blowing themselves out a bit. No, I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just saying some of the guys.
A lot of females do it a lot worse than males do now.
But they're new to the game.
But I think of females, and again, not being sexist, but this is just fact, they have more of an emotional attachment to their food than what males do.
Yeah.
So it is like, I'll use my wife as an example. She eats clean all year round. You can't put chocolate near her. Like she just hates the way it makes her feel. And it's just not her being a psycho or anything. She just feels so much better eating clean food, so she doesn't have that emotional attachment to food.
I'm the same.
I'm the same too. And even kids, I had kids.
My
kids were eating
I'm the same. I know.
grilled barramundi yesterday. I'm like, fucking yeah. Like they eat whole fillets of barramundi. They're 2 and 4 years old.
No, I'm like that. I tried to be like that. Maybe that's why I'm divorced. But my kids at one stage go, Dad, no, please, no chicken and rice. No, there'll be a point. The kids get to you.
My kids don't know any better.
No.
So and that's how we kind of both. It's good to have a wife with the same kind of ideas as I do when it comes to nutrition.
You have to. And hanging around people similar too, man.
Yeah. But we enjoy going out for dinners on weekends. We both.
I'm sure me and you can smash a great burger, and I bet you we can have chicken and rice.
This weekend, I'm already looking at what I'm going to have for my cheat meal.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sure we could do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretty much close it up soon, but you were on a podcast recently.
Yep.
I realised, and I just want to touch on some things you brought up at that podcast. You said something about cherishing, and you cherish every moment with your kids. You seem like, because I looked at your thing, man, and you are all family. You're a family guy. I can see you got kids, and so you spoke about cherishing every moment with your kids, and tell me about being a dad. You said your son was sleeping and you were watching him and being in those moments. But what I'm seeing from you is how much you love being a dad. So tell us about those cherishing moments. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, being a dad's the best job in the world.
It's a fucking best, isn't it?
But it's so much of a cooler experience of doing it alongside someone like my wife. We're obviously best mates, but we love each other to death. But going through the experience and learning so much at the same time together is just a good feeling. So just watching them grow and just seeing them grow into little humans and the different things that you see them learn every single day. Is just the coolest thing. Like different things that they do, different little quirks, different personalities, and
Gets better, man.
And everyone says that too. Like, and I
even
say that to my mates now that have just got
it's-
kids younger than me.
It's
I'm
unstoppable.
like, you're losing your shit because your kid's walking. I
You'll
go,
lose
it's an
your
awesome
shit.
feeling,
You lose your shit.
but that's nothing yet. And I'm not trying to downgrade the experience you're having now. I'm just letting you know it gets even better, and people tell me that now too.
The only
Like,
thing better than being a dad and watching your kids grow up is watching your rugby league team win a grand final.
I've done it with my kids. My kids, both of my kids haven't been alive to see Penrith lose a grand final.
Well,
So they've been there for the last 3 years in a row and watched them win grand finals. And Kai's never been around to not have them in a grand final. So
Well,
yeah, this year might be the first year. Let me check if Cleary's injured or not.
let's check, man. Check.
Nothing's come through yet. Yeah.
Newsflash. What do we got?
Oh, I'll be devastated, but
Come on,
nothing's come up
we might
yet.
get some crying, Chris. Get ready.
No, nothing's come up yet.
No, Jesus. I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you because when my daughter was born, and it was my first Father's Day. So I don't know where it was. Giselle goes, "All right, we got your Father's Day present ready. Come in the nursery." And I said, "All right." So I walked in the nursery, and she dressed the whole nursery in Bulldogs colours.
Oh wow!
And she goes, "We're a Bulldogs family." And I went, "That's the best." So,
See, my father-in-law goes from Manly, and he tried to. He got them like little Manly gear, and I was like, I had to pull Mrs. aside. I go, just so you know, this is going to be a massive sticking point with me. They're my kids. They're Panthers boys, and no, both of them. They know to cheer for the Panthers. My son, if it wasn't a late game last night, he was begging for me to take him, but it was a late game, so I couldn't take him. But
see, that's what I mean. You're a great dad.
Yeah.
But I laugh because my daughter at one stage, because she was into tigers. She
Oh,
wanted to
gross.
go- No, but she loved tigers, right?
Oh,
and she had teddy bears,
well, that's the
tigers.
thing.
And she goes to me, "Dad, can I go for the tigers?" I went, "What?" And my missus said, "Oh, you just got to let her do what she wants to do." And I just said, and honestly, I had a game plan. I said, if I make it too loud, carry on a bit, she's going to go against me. So I just said, "Oh, whatever you want to do," right? But they all come to the dogs.
they
all come
I
over.
remember Kai did the same thing with the tigers too. He's like, I like tigers, but it was like I'll let you have this one, but just so you know, you're not going to grow up in this household going for another footy team. So
And I love it now because my son's 18, and I go, "Did you see what the dogs did?" You're right. So like, it doesn't matter, man. You got to be the Panthers family or the dogs. It's family, man.
Yeah.
You can't be.
Yeah.
And
well, there's I don't even know if you listen to this. There's a photo of me, my dad, my mum, and my sister decked out in Panthers gear for the 1991 grand final.
No.
So it's been with us since day one, and like my dad's like, so I'll still got memories of when Penrith won the grand final in 1991. My cousins coming over, all Panthers fans watching the grand final, the way they reacted. So it's been ingrained in me from when I was a little kid, and it's just something that I've enjoyed as a family. It's something that we do as a family. Like last night, my sister, dad didn't want to come. It was something that me and my sister very rarely get an opportunity to do something just me and her. And that's probably the only thing that we've ever done, just me and her. No one else, no kids, no nothing, just me and her go and watch the footy together.
I love it.
And it's like something that I do with my dad, and now that I take my wife with me and the kids, and the kids love, it's the best.
well, I think if it's a Dogs Penrith grand final, man, get ready.
Oh, that's gross.
Gross. I'm allowing you to be there.
Yeah, I don't need.
I'm
Dogs
allowing you to
deserve
be there, man.
It's
Cut
Penrith
it.
versus Penrith reserve grade.
Well, all I know is that my parents went for the Dogs too, because we blue and white, Greeks, blue and white, Paponis playing. And the funny thing was, it was through our blood. So, and I grew up in South Belmore.
Yeah.
I used to ride my BMX. Second half, they used to open the gates so you can get in for free. So I'd go to Belmore Ground, second half, go in, ride my BMX up, leave it outside, not even chain it, never lost it. You go watch the game, right? Or you'd sit outside waiting for the football to run home with the leather ball, right? But the funny thing is, when my sister had kids and her husband then at the time, they were Rooster supporters. So we've had a Roosters Dogs rivalry because my parents have passed away, but it was the grandparents and the grandchildren was Roosters and dogs, and it was just my mum would ring her grandchildren and say the dogs won, and they'd ring her, the roosters won, and only recently we've had the dragons have come into the fold. They're big whingers anyway. They're big whingers anyway. Let's finish up with a hot topic, right? Because you brought it up in the in that podcast, and I want to hear your opinion on it. What's going on in the world? Because you mentioned the world, and you mentioned about being grateful and food, and all these seemingly wars that are happening, and the poverty, destruction in Palestine, Israel, Ukraine. Yeah. What do you think's got to happen in this world? And obviously, what we saw recently with the Olympics, and carrying on. What do you think we need to do? Because you mentioned that we're not grateful in that podcast. So is that what's lacking in this world at the moment? That what's going on?
I reckon there's a lot of weird shit that's happening in the world right now. I think too many. I don't know if you can put it down to one single thing, but there's so many things happening. Like
it's crazy. I'm saying
lack of respect, like the whole. I'm not an overly religious person, but the lack of respect with the opening ceremony and the mocking of the
Last Supper.
The Last Supper. And just no consideration to how that would have made millions of people feel.
And why do that when no one wants to go against you? No one wants to get.
What's religion at the end of the day got to do with the Olympics? Like, it didn't need to happen.
We all wanted to come together.
That's it, and that's the whole point of the Olympics, really. Like, and it's just the controversy with the whole breakdancing thing now and how she was like. I think it's just the whole woke agenda and everything now is starting to be a cancer in every aspect, in every single thing, and it's just starting to get real weird. Like, everything's just weird. Everyone's being negative.
Aren't we losing also the actors and entertainment, and everything's becoming a message? Everything's got to be a hidden agenda.
Exactly, but I think social media has a big role to play in that too, where everyone thinks they're a celebrity. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one can go and get a coffee and spend a day at a park without posting it on their socials to let everyone know this is what I'm doing. Like, I personally use my socials. Like, I'll post photos of my kids and obviously promotion of the business, but the only reason why I ever post anything for my family and my kids is this is the best way for my family overseas it's the easiest way for my family overseas to see what we're up to and see, like, we connect, like we live millions of miles apart or kilometers apart now, but we can still see, and like, I love seeing my family overseas and what they're doing and how they're spending their weekend in Malta and things like that. That's why I post on socials. But people now feel like they have to post something because they've got an audience constantly watching them. You don't have a fucking audience watching you. No one cares about the coffee or the fucking emails that you're sending at a cafe and your little computer. And people just act like celebrities now. And I think that has been a major influence in how people are, and everyone's just way too sensitive. You can't have a joke now without someone getting offended. You can't put a little bit of a comment. You can't post a comment on something without being attacked by a bunch of people with I think the world's just in a real fuck direction, going to a real fuck direction now, and I can't see it turning around anytime soon.
You can't, yeah?
No.
What are you looking, Chris?
I don't know what I think. Honestly, I'm lost.
You're lost.
Yeah.
But it's the thing, like, social media now, like, people look at. Well, we're heading into a new age of technology now, where we don't know what is real. Like, the one thing that scared me was that what's that the chick that's taken over Biden, Kamala Harris? What's her name? So they actually used AI to doctor a photo, to mock a photo of how many people were in the audience, and the way that someone picked it up was AI now isn't really at the stage yet where it's perfect, but there's little implications with the images that it produces. But one person had two hands folding in arms, and they're like, that's AI generated. So if we're heading in that direction and we're constantly looking at our phones every single day for information, we're never going to know what information is real or not real. You know what I mean? And everything that's happening overseas, there's so much misinformation, and it's creating a divide in so many different populations in the world. For what, at the end of the day? So it's all money driven.
Yeah, I'm with you. I I said that to Chris. I said, how, because things have changed. Think about it now. Empires have fallen in the past. Slavery has changed. This a lot like something gives. I don't know what's going to give.
But when empires have fallen, like if you look back,
yeah,
if you look back in time, empires have fallen when they get to a stage where shit starts to happen like it's happening now.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like-
I think we're at an empire fail. I think there has to be a collapse of empire. I don't know because
Like
that's
the Roman Empire, they got to a point where they started to get confused about their gender too.
Yeah.
And then look at how that ended up.
yeah, but we've come back from that. That's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
maybe we can come back. But all I know is that, like, I guess they didn't have AI, but I also know I heard that the Roman Empire and Julius Caesar and a few people used to give wine to everyone, and the reason they gave them wine was to make them lightheaded and gullible in a sense. Like that was what I heard was alcohol was used, which it is today. But so I guess giving everyone a phone to sedate, but that alcohol can only go so long, and maybe this social media can go so long.
Yeah, but the whole phone thing, you're right. Like China created TikTok, but TikTok's banned in China.
I know.
So Chinese are smart enough to know that, all right, we've developed this app that's going to make our kids dumb as fuck. Let's give it to the Western world.
Yeah.
But we're not going to let our kids look at it every single day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Like if you look at any type of social media application over in China and that, it's policed. So they can only see educational type videos and things that are going to make them a better person. Not a bunch of twits standing in the street doing this and chicks bending over and like it's just it's completely fucked. And
Yeah.
I feel scared for our next generation, to be honest. Yeah,
I'm not only scared for the next generation. I'm actually kind of like you said. I'm kind of scared ourselves because. But I've learnt every tool. This tool. You know what? For me at the moment, my personal media has taken a back seat. Like my own IG and my own TikTok. I can't go to it because the social media in this platform I've got now is taken too much of me now. Like I got no time to show off a motorcycle. I got no time to show off a beach view. I am not.
there's nothing wrong with those things at the same time. Yeah,
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm glad I don't.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I just look at social media as business now because I know everybody that thinks they're doing business in social media are not because they're trying to be influencers. I'm just looking at how can this work as a business, like everything. Like I sell coffee to cafes. That means I've got to have a roaster. From the roaster, get to the cafe. Packaging.
I've got my business pages, obviously, for my gyms and
But
everything else,
you know what I'm trying. That takes a lot of your effort. Like for me, I just have to focus.
I very rarely post on my personal page now, and I do if it's photos of the kids or this is my tag me.
I see your simplicity of your page and the wonderful thing I see. But what I'm saying is, but don't you think
you've lost a lot of followers from it? But I don't care.
No, I don't care.
That's my life at the end of the day. Like
exactly.
if you don't want to
You're
see
not
that,
really
I'm not going to
interested.
pretend like I'm something that I'm not. And the way I used to look at it too, I've seen so many people that were so obsessed with social media and creating this status in social media, and some of them got really famous on social media. But then I look at them now, and they're 40-something years old, miserable with their lives. They don't have families. They don't have kids. They don't have any real friends anymore because they were so obsessed in this fake world. I always used to say, I still say to this day, and I'm glad that I kind of like developed this mindset very early on. I used to look at all of their followers and go, if you die tomorrow, how many of those followers are going to rock up to your funeral?
100%.
You could have 1,000 followers and have 1,000 people rock up to your funeral, or have 100,000 followers and one person rock up. Like it, at the end of the day, how much do you actually mean to these people, and why are you investing so much of your time and effort to a bunch of people that don't give a fuck about you, when there's people in your life that do care about you that you're completely ignoring because of this fake world? And that's what,
Well, I've realised that social media at the moment is what you just said earlier on. For me, we're entertainers.
Yeah.
Like Tony Doherty said. So for me, I'm just going to be a great entertainer. Meaning, but on my personals, I'm not an entertainer. That's what I'm saying. Is like I'm
the same. I'm the same.
That's what I'm
Exactly the
saying.
same now.
I'm an entertainer.
Yeah.
But on my personals, I can't be
I'll
fucked.
post some funny shit now and then.
Yeah. But you know what I'm trying to say.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I'm not doing it
to be an entertainer.
Like, I hope my followers see this. And
I don't give a shit.
I don't give a fuck. I just thought this was funny.
Yeah. But when I'm on with Muscle Talks and everything else, you know what, Chris? Entertainment time.
Yeah.
But on my personals, I'm like, that's my dog, Tipsy. She's a poodle. I took her for a walk. Like, I don't care. I'm not. If you don't like my dog, you don't like my. I don't care. But when it comes to, that's how I've taken. What I'm trying to say to you is, I think the only way myself or the way we can navigate in life is with socials is put a fine line. If you just want to use it, like you said, to show the family, Malta and everyone, that's what it's about. And if you're going to do business, then go hard, be an entertainer, because that's what you're doing, because you're entertaining people and they want to watch.
And you need to keep them engaged. Exactly.
That's
right.
it. I'm keeping them engaged. But when it comes to personally, you're going to find my personal page very boring because there's nothing there.
That's where I am now. Yeah, it took one little thing for me to kind of realise it, and it was quick smart. I realised quick smart is I was on the couch and I was on the phone, and my son Kai was old enough to talk. He was trying to get my attention. He goes, "Daddy, get off your phone." And I'm like, "The fuck am I doing on my phone when I'm with my kids?" And literally since that day, I make a conscious effort. And sometimes I have to be on my phone because I've got people from work messaging me or whatever.
Of course, it's business.
But I make a conscious effort that if it's time with my kids, I'll put my phone on charge and I'll just in another room. So I can't hear it buzzing. I can't hear it doing that. I'm still not the best at it because I'm on my phone a lot, but I do make the most of my time now with my kids and my wife, and I'm conscious about how much time I do spend on the phone.
No. It's like I said to you, man. I just use it as business, man. I don't.
Yeah.
My personal one is very boring at the moment. Even all of them is like my personal life is and great because that's exactly what my life is like. But you know what's funny? My dog. I've got a few dogs, but my poodle. If I'm on my phone, she pushes the phone away from me.
There you go.
When I'm watching, when I'm watching telly,
you've got a dog that does that.
No,
I'm watching telly.
I mean?
They're smart enough to know.
Yeah, I'm watching telly. No, Tipsy, Tipsy. I'll be watching telly, and she'll come around and sit on the couch, and I'll go on my phone, and she'll come over and go like this, like with her nose, and she pushes it so I can put my hand on her and give her a pat while watching telly. So she wants me to do this to her, and I go, wow, my dog does. Even when I sit down, I'm watching the rugby league. And she sees me sit down with I'll get my food, but I might put my food down and look at my phone. She'll push my food off because she wants to sit on my lap while we watch the rugby league. So even the dogs know. You got
a dog smart enough to know, but most people wouldn't cotton on it, wouldn't register in their brain.
And that's why I said if social media is an entertainment platform, then Muscle Talks is an entertainment platform. I'll entertain you there. I'm sorry, there's nothing, and I don't do much on my personal media, but there's nothing there. There's nothing you're going to see. There's nothing exciting. So I don't even. So like I said, I think if we all realise is our business this, then our phones will use it. But when it comes to life, we just get back to what life is.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like shut off.
Hi, Yvonne here. I'm thrilled to be working with Steve from Muscle Talks. Please go to rockcreek.com.au and join in on the collaboration with Steve and use your Muscle Talks 10 discount code to buy any products that you'd like.
All right, let's go over the body. This is how we finish off. I'm going to give you a body part. I just want an exercise, sets and reps. Okay? I'm going to go over the whole body. All right. Traps. Shrugs, sets, reps.
I don't count sets. Okay. I never count sets. So I just literally... I with every exercise I do, I'm not saying this is the right way to do it. It's just the way I do things and the way I've always done things. I'll warm up every single exercise. So if I've done 4 different chest exercises, if I'm going to do a different movement, I'm going to start my warm up again. So I'll do 1 or 2 sets of a warm up, increase the weight until I do my 3 working sets. And then I stop my working sets when I feel like I can't do anymore.
When you say 3 working sets, what does that mean?
As heavy as I can go, as many as I can.
And you can push 3 times?
3 sets.
3 sets?
Yeah.
3 sets. Okay, 3 sets.
Yeah.
Okay, so shrugs. Delts are re-delts.
I like them on the cable.
Yeah?
So I just grab a cable, yeah.
Same thing, same principle you were saying before.
Yeah, and I literally do that same principle with every exercise, yeah.
Side delts?
Just lateral raises.
Lateral raises?
Yeah.
Dumbbells? Old school, yeah. Front
raises. Dumbbells. I hate all this new shit people are doing. It's just,
no. Back.
Lat pull down.
Chest.
Bench press.
barbell or
I like
dumbbells?
barbell, but there's benefits in both. Barbell puts you.
Why is everyone pushing towards incline dumbbell presses, the push, and don't do anything else when Arnold and all the back then? If you see how big her
Yeah,
chest
but
used to be?
there are the high risk of pec tears with the barbell bench press. Very high risk. And the incline bench does kind of give you... Again, it comes down to genetics and what type of incline or how much of an incline you need to be on to give you the most contraction that you possibly can on the chest. So even when I go on an incline, I only need to lift it a couple of inches for an incline. If I go too much of an incline, I engage my front delts too much and they take over the movement. So it just comes down to trial and error. But bench press for me is, always.
Are you genetics, natural like this?
No.
No,
What do you mean?
when I say natural, I'm not asking about
No,
natural.
no, genetically,
But are
no.
you genetic?
No,
because
I was a chubby kid, and then when
Okay.
I did boxing when I was a teenager, and I was about 69 kilos when I did that. So
So you've worked for this?
yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Yeah,
'Cause I could say that you're natural genetics. but-
Genetically, I'm not a big guy. No.
Okay. What do you weigh?
104.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your maintain weight?
Yeah, that's what I'm at.
What's your stage weight?
Oh, I wouldn't know now, but I used to get under 90 kilos. I think the heaviest I've been on stage was 91. But I think if I competed now, I'd probably be around 94, 95, 96.
And what's your heaviest you've ever been?
110.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bicep?
Bicep curl.
Yep. Tricep?
I like the single arm cable tricep pull down.
Okay. Yep. Abs?
Abs is just a weighted crunch on the cables.
Yep. Quads?
Quads, if you wanted to specifically isolate quads, is leg extension for me.
Leg extensions?
Yep.
Hammies?
Hamstring curl, if it's just some isolation.
Seated, lying, or
I
standing?
like laying, but
Laying.
seated's good also. Yeah.
Calves?
Calves, both seated and standing.
Are your calves natural like that?
I
Like
don't train calves.
They're big, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't train them. Yeah, because I'm lazy with calves. Yeah, I've got good calves. Yeah,
This guy's calves.
he's got good calves. Yeah,
Calves.
Yeah,
Look at them.
yeah. If I trained them, they'd be so much better. But I just, I don't. Yeah, I'm going to train them tomorrow now. Just 'cause
Tibialis?
same tibia raises. Yeah.
Okay. Glutes, and should men do hip thrust? Glute. What's a
Yes,
good
they
glute?
should.
They should do hip thrust.
Yes, they should.
And glutes. Have you always done hip thrust?
No,
Okay. When did you read? When did you?
recently, not long ago, I started hip thrusts. Yeah.
So because I know I don't think I think
No, they wouldn't have done hip thrusts.
that's what, no. But what I'm saying is I don't think they did many glute exercises.
No, but
in
they
that.
did hinge movements that activated the glutes.
That's what I'm
Where
saying to you.
this is
I feel like now though
hip thrust
it's
is an isolated movement. Yeah, and
so what's a good glute exercise? Since I'll take the comment.
deadlifts and hip thrusts. Yeah. But deadlifts is a movement where you need to perform it correctly in either to engage your glutes, hammies, or whatever you're trying to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Different variations, obviously, but glutes is one thing that I really lacked as a competitor, and now see the importance of when it comes to maintaining a healthy body. Because
and the
if
guys,
you have strong glutes, then you're going to have less lower back problems, less knee problems. Stronger glutes are going to help with a lot of things down the track when you start to get older and start to get a little bit more frail. Yeah.
I've just recently learned how to do good RDLs. I used to watch it and go, that's just like a deadlift kind of thing, and now I've realised how much you need to do an RDL. You've got to engage every point of it. Like there's a point that you've got to stay engaged the whole movement.
Yeah.
If you lapse off engagement, you don't really feel it.
That's right.
So with RDLs, I was like, oh man, now I know how to do RDLs.
That's the beauty of the sport, but you're just constantly learning. There's exercises, like I said.
Even today.
Yeah, there's exercises there.
But even, you know what I've also realised in the sport recently? That how much I've been daydreaming for the last year.
Yeah, but that happens. Like we spoke about him. I saw Mike Pearson. He put a training video up, and he just put up a series of exercises he did for legs. And I'm like, I haven't trained that in a long time. And I've just been going along with the flow, thinking that I'm training hard.
Yeah.
Then I just put together a workout like I used to and just smashed myself. And I was like, fuck, I haven't trained like that in a long time. I was so sore for a few days.
Me too.
Sometimes you need that little bit of reminder. You get complacent sometimes, but it just happens subconsciously. You don't realise you're doing it.
And it's funny because I'm sure you're going to vouch for this when you first started bodybuilding, when I first started bodybuilding, which I started in 89, right? 89, 88, 80, 88, 87, 88, 89. When I started, all I knew was the next day I could not walk, the next day I could not move. And it went for years. But somehow I became lazy. And that's what I'm saying is when you re-engage again, you remember those days, fuck, we used to go and smash ourselves at the gym.
Yeah.
But now today, everyone, it's like
But at the same time, you're complacent and you're probably not training as hard as you used to, but you're still training. Where the general population don't do what you do now. So the fact that you're doing something is...
I love it. Well, man, where can we find you? Like, what? Tell us your IG. Where can people find you, man?
Yeah, my IG, like we said, is pretty boring because it's just photos of me and the family these days and a few funny things.
Just disregard the penal stuff, guys. But yes, what is
it's
it?
a fair bit of that. Mark Grechy Grech, gym's at World Gym Marsden Park, so feel free to come and check it out.
Yeah.
Mention the podcast, I'll give you a free session.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
You're a good.
I'm going to remind stuff about that.
Well, man, I just wanted to say thank you.
No, thanks for having me.
Right, it was
Appreciate
awesome, man. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks very much.